Another AEW pay-per-view is in the books. Vancouver was live in direct last night, AEW Dynasty 2026, where we found out that the devil goes over God. You must pick the devil over God, apparently, because MJF defeated Kenny Omega in an instant classic main event. Jon Moxley almost broke the neck of Will Ospreay again and retained the AEW Continental Championship. But we got new champions galore, with Kevin the Jet Knight becoming the new TNT champion. You also had the conglomeration with the returning Kyle O'Reilly winning the AEW World Trio Championships, because the world and Tony Khan must really hate the dogs, very much so, including Gabe Kidd getting injured in that same matchup. We're going to talk about all of that. Plus, we'll talk about some other returns, like Kamille on 0 Hour and starting a feud with Willow Nightingale. And we ask a question that a lot of people are dreading right now. Kenny Omega lost. Hangman Adam Page lost. He's beaten Brody King. He's beaten Bandito, beaten Kevin Knight during his title reign. But is MJF about to be dethroned by Darby Allin this coming Wednesday? We'll discuss all of that, plus the full pay-per-view from last night. It's the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. It's our AEW Dynasty 2026 review. Let's get to it.
Hello, this is RJ City, and I am ethically opposed to any more wrestling podcasts. I don't know why you guys are talking about wrestling. It is a niche product. It is a very small industry. Yet, at this point, there's more wrestling podcasts than there are wrestlers. There is something wrong with society as a whole, but as you get smaller and smaller into wrestling, and then the wrestling podcast sphere, it gets even worse. And one such example, if I may turn on the microscope and look at the drudgery that happens to be True Heel Heat, SP3, Sid, this is your fault.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, and we are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube and Facebook for our AEW Dynasty 2026 review, breaking down last night's show from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, as new champions were crowned, the devil overcame the god, and much, much more. And of course, to break it all down, we got another all-star panel for an AEW pay-per-view event. First up, he is the main man who usually joins us for the AEW pay-per-view previews and reviews. He is our MC of the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. It's your boy, Jay News. How you doing, Jay News?
I'm all right, man. Another long night, another long Sunday night pay-per-view event, 5+ hours of professional wrestling action packed into one nice show with an interesting, let's say, Broadway length bow at the end of the show. I had fun, man. I had fun. I see a lot of the commentary in our comment section right now. I'm perusing Twitter as we're live right now for the first time in a couple of days to see as to what the buzz is or lack thereof. And people have mixed emotions about last night's pay-per-view. So I'd like to see as to what everybody else has to say. But I'm here. I'm present. We're going to have some things to talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about the online reception as well as what we're seeing on Cage Match and all of that, as we usually do with our pay-per-view reviews. But we got a face that you don't always see here, but she has joined us before for a pay-per-view PLE review for the Royal Rumble earlier this year. She is, of course, the True Jaw Joss's better half and anime enthusiast. We also got Wendy with us. How you doing, Wendy?
Hi everybody. I'm doing good. Yesterday, wow, what a show yesterday we had. I'm excited to talk about it with all you guys. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you joining us. Loving the red hair. I haven't seen this before. This is a great addition.
Thank you. I needed to revive it. You know, I'm kind of going for, I don't know, like a burgundy red, maybe Jean Grey, maybe excited for the new X-Men coming out. I don't know. Maybe.
Or the new Spider-Man.
That too. Or Mary Jane.
Yes. But yes, we got also with us today the main man over at Dirt Sheet Radio, founder, host extraordinaire, the one and only Jon Escudero. How you doing, John?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to talk about Dynamite. Dynamite, Jesus. You know, that's been happening to me a lot for the past 2 weeks when doing the coverage, like Dynamite Dynasty. It's rough. We're good, though. I'm excited.
It caught me on the hashtags. The hashtags are I want all my power after that last A is to put MITE, and I've had to put STY the last 24 hours. So yeah, I understand that. But yeah, we got a lot to discuss from last night's pay-per-view. So we appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, family, and friends on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. You could sound off in the comment section if you're watching us on demand, and if you're with us live, sound off in the live chat. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to show your support to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel and our AEW coverage, you could do so with a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support, like from our main man Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries, for the support. He says Dynasty was a solid pay-per-view to me, but to be honest, Dynasty is the lowest on the AEW pay-per-views totem pole in my opinion, so I was satisfied overall. I would say this was a very good to great show. I think that the notes that I took as far as like in comparison to Revolution, which I thought was like an all-timer show, I don't think that the last night was that, but I think that the pacing of the card was much better. And I think like the worst matchup on Revolution, I think this one is kind of understandable what was the worst match on this show. And I think other than that matchup, everything else on the show was either good to great. So I think that overall, the card was a lot more smoother, having one less matchup on the main card, especially. And I thought that the pre-show for this show was better than Revolution. What was, guys, your kind of overall thoughts on the show? Start with Wendy.
I thought the show was good. Comparing it to Revolution, I mean, like people saying like it's, you know, like it's not as if like people are saying it felt more like a Dynamite rather than a pay-per-view, but it's like, I mean, it was a good show. Like I can't really say anything really much as in like, oh, it was like bad or it's like the bottom or it's like the worst pay-per-view or anything like that. Like I can't say that. Like regardless, AEW do come out with really good pay-per-views.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
What about you, J News?
What can I say? Like I said, I had fun with the entire show, man. I think the 0 hour led in really well. 4 matches there. 0 hour really developed stories for what's going to be going on forward with AEW. Plus, they had some banger matches on the 0 hour as well for the first time in what feels like a long period of time for the 0 hour. And then the main show started off hot, and to me, at no point did I feel like it dipped, to be quite honest. And we got the variety show that most people always look for when it comes to pro wrestling. So I didn't have an issue with the show at all. I think based on just the first match on the main show, like all the predictions went out the window. But besides that part, you know what I'm saying? They're keeping us guessing, which is always a good thing in pro wrestling. You don't want everything to be, telegraphed or super predictable and stuff like that. And for those folks in the chat and people watching who joined us for the preview, what I tell you about Darby Allin? Y'all out here playing games about Darby Allin. What I tell y'all about Darby Allin?
Hey, what are you talking? You acting like I disagree that this is going to be a great match.
No. I'm not talking about the match. I'm talking about the result. And people know what's coming with Darby Allin. People know what's coming, man. You know what's coming, SP3. You know what's coming.
I've learned to accept the fate that's gonna happen. I've learned to accept fate. John, what about you?
I thought it was a great show. A good show. Great overall scale. Good on like AEW scale, because AEW scale is like weird. It's different. The Revolution, I thought, because it culminated a lot of storylines, people are gonna be more satisfied with that show than this one, because this was like a middle of the story show. Like a lot of these are like Jericho, Ricochet, like a lot of these are going to lead to rematches or stories that aren't done. So a lot of people aren't going to get the same feeling of satisfaction. But overall, I thought it was a really damn good show. I had fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. And you're absolutely right. Like, that's the main reason why people look back on, say, like, Revolution was better than this show, is because it's a culmination of like 3 months of build-up for that show, whereas this was a quick turnaround. It's a 4-week build for this show, and there was still some great matches on the card that we're going to get into, and of course wax lyrically about. We got a couple of our members in the chat, like Ayana, who said that, Wendy, we must share Takeshita. She says that we can both be number one.
Can I say something about this? It's so funny. So the reason why I put like Takeshita as number one fangirl is because I don't know what it is about Takeshita, but like it's something about him that it just turns me into a fangirl. And every time when I either see him or I hear his name or whatever, and I do it in front of Josh specifically, he gives me a look, and it's hilarious because he's like, "Are you serious?" Like, because I take it up a notch, and he's like, "Seriously?" And I'm like, "What? I have to, like, it's Takeshita. I have to fangirl over him." And he just makes this hilarious face, and it's like so funny to me. And I just tell him, like, it's just me being a fangirl. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I try to like minimize it, because I don't want to overdo it. I don't want him to get pissed off at me and stuff. So yeah, but that's why I put number one fangirl Takeshita.
It's because he looks like a model, a Japanese model, and a J-pop star, either or. Like,
well,
that's
that too. And I am a fangirl of K-pop, so same.
There you go. And yes, Tech is right in the chat. He says, so I guess Jimmy Macaram is getting all the super chat donations on this week's Ramble. He's not getting all the super chat donations from shows he's not on. Seeing how he predicted Moxley would beat Ospreay last night with the thinking emoji. And yes, he will get all the super chat donations. We're doing Ramble on Friday instead of Thursday this week because it's WrestleMania week. So yes, he's getting all the super chat donations because he was right. Moxley did win, and he can continue to. He probably is going to have a whole rant and compare Jon Moxley to a terrorist again. That should be fun. We got Dion who says, what's the online sentiment? I thought the show was good. The Empire Strikes Back of AEW. Moments of hope, but the bad guys are firmly in control for now. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a little bit of the online sentiment, a lot of like praise for certain matches, but overall, I thought like what John said earlier, like Revolution had people anticipating because it was a culmination of all these shows, and then coming out of the show, you had all these returns that were like big time, and you had the Ronda Rousey debut on that show. Like there wasn't anything kind of like big noteworthy news wise on this show in comparison to Revolution. So I think that's why you're getting some people, I won't say people because that's too general. I think some people will say, oh, it's a very good Dynamite, but those are the same people that don't really watch AEW, so don't really listen to them, Fitz. You shouldn't listen to these people.
Don't call them people either.
Oh man, people. Yeah, they're not people. The worst one that I saw is someone said that MJF's title reign is the reign of terror of AEW. One of the stupidest shit I think I've ever seen on social media. This comes from a person that probably is in their teens or in their 20s that did not live through the Triple H reign of terror.
Actually, because I mean, as someone that I kind of ironically like the Reign of Terror, because I laugh about it with my friends, like, oh, look at him job out all these WCW guys, take their title and run away with it. It's so funny, but in reality, like it was so bad. He was so in Vince's ear. He was so in it for himself. Everything that happened on Raw was to put Triple H over. You're talking like multiple episodes of Raw where Evolution and Triple H would be weaved throughout the entire thing, and they'd be the only ones that get worthwhile arcs or anything. You didn't live through the actual Reign of Terror. MJF winning over and over, that's just a champion being dominant. That's not what you think it is. That's what you say when people are like, oh, you didn't live through. You actually didn't live through that. It was so bad. Steve Austin was shooting him on it. in WWE Magazine, you can read between the lines of some Austin interviews where he's actually shooting on Triple H and his influence over creative. It's crazy, these children out there.
Yeah. Like I have PTSD off of the Reign of Terror. I still talk about it like I was a part of like some crime I saw in firsthand, and I talk about it like I still have trauma over it. It's that bad. That's the only time in my life I've actively stopped watching a wrestling show. Like I stopped watching Monday Night Raw for like a good 2 years during the Reign of Terror and had to go back and watch it and see how bad it really was. But I got turned off once the Katie Vick stuff happened with Kane, and then the whole Shawn Michaels losing to Michaels at Survivor Series and then winning right back. Like the beginning of 2003, I just stopped watching Monday Night Raw completely. And then I picked it back up maybe a month or so later, and he was still champion. I was like, nah. And I watched the SummerSlam with Goldberg lost. I was like, nah, I'm over this. I'm not watching this. And then I finally picked it back up after WrestleMania 20 when he lost to Benoit. And then Benoit, they did the whole shit with Benoit losing to Randy Orton, and then Triple H winning right back. And then I took time off again, and I was like, I'm over that.
Oof.
It's funny because if they think MJF is in a Reign of Terror now, we're what, 4 months into his reign? I like, even if the inevitable comes to pass on Wednesday, I suspect MJF is not going to be gone from the main event scene for a long, long time. So you should get used to it because he's really fucking good, and it's fun to watch him be an asshole. And the boss seems to know that.
Yeah, I think this would like the fate that we talked about earlier. If it happens on Wednesday, yeah, I don't expect Darby to hold that title past Double or Nothing. So that's the solace that I can look back on. Right. We got some.
I mean, if I may, we spoke about this on the preview. He's not going to be champion for long. I don't know why people are so up in arms about this whole decision. Right? It's twists and turns through a storyline at the end of the day. And if Darby does win in Everett, Washington on Wednesday Night Dynamite, when he has a match versus MJF, and he wins with a headlock, good shout to somebody in the chat there who put it on there with a headlock takeover. It's going to be funny. It's going to pop a moment. will it be AEW's equivalent of like Mick Foley winning the championship back in the day in WWE? I don't know, but Darby's been a day one AEW guy, so whether you believe it's deserved or not, or whatever the case is, it's up to it's preference at the end of the day. But I told y'all he's gonna be champ at one point. I thought it was gonna be the end of the year. We just got here, and I was like, perfect time.
It's better now, and then he can have a short run. MJF can win it back, or maybe even Omega can win it, so I can get my Omega Ospreay, and then everybody's happy. If I get Omega Ospreay in Wembley Stadium, then I'll still be happy. And even if it's MJF Darby, getting him back.
If Darby doesn't win on Wednesday, it'd be a bigger mistake than if he win the title. Honestly, based on the story they're telling with Darby Allin, if you drop him on Wednesday after him screaming MJF's name, I'd rather die, or I'm not gonna get the AEW title, I'll see God or whatever, and then he just loses to like a low blow or something. What kind of cheap ass ending is that? Like he has to win the title on Wednesday. I don't think people get that. It just has to happen. This must come to pass, and you will accept it.
Yeah,
it is written.
I think people that don't like Darby will like say, oh, it's gonna kill AEW's momentum and all that. Dude, like, haven't we learned from 50, 60 years of pro wrestling? Fans like the title change. The title change will pop a rating, and they'll watch the week after to see what AEW is like with Darby Allin as champion. And guess what? You don't have to wait that long for Double or Nothing, where MJF probably wins it right back. So then they'll be back for MJF being champion again. So no, I don't think it's gonna kill their momentum. I just would have liked MJF to have this long run and drop it to whoever, like a Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay. That's just my preference, but I understand what's my preference is not kind of conducive to making the road to All In as unpredictable as possible.
How cool. I just think, I don't know, I like Darby Allin. I think you got a guy that's actually in real life willing to die for professional wrestling. What would he be willing to do as world champion? I think that's a very fun thing to tune into Dynamite for. And it should honestly only last 3-4 weeks, because he might die otherwise trying to fucking keep the pressure up for being world champion and Darby Allin at the same time. This is going to be fun.
It is. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. And I already know in advance, Friday, Jimmy Macaron will be very upset. And I can't wait for that as well. But yes, we got to talk about AEW Dynasty. And as usual, to do that, we start off every pay-per-view review with the same thing. We'll start with Wendy. Give me one word, one phrase to give your overall thoughts on last night's Dynasty pay-per-view.
Oh gosh, a word. Delightful. Let's go with that.
What about you, John?
I was just gonna say fun, but I said fun already. Like I'm redundant. I'm stuck for words, but I had a great time, so just fun.
Yeah, I'll go with it was a blast. A blast would be my one word. J News.
To quote Jay-Z, it's only entertainment. That's
Love it. But let's start off with 0 Hour. Like I said before, I thought this 0 Hour is actually better than the Revolution 0 Hour, despite me thinking that Revolution was the better pay-per-view of these two shows. I thought 0 Hour was a lot of fun because they had a lot of women's wrestling on it, including the opener on 0 Hour. You had Alex Windsor going one-on-one with Marina Shafir. Early on, Windsor sent Shafir packing. She had a somersault senton off the apron before going back inside for a leg sweep. Windsor hit a low drop kick. Shafir countered into an arm bar, and then Windsor got a high stack and got a near fall on that. We get a sharpshooter by Windsor, but it was countered into a triangle choke by Shafir, who spiked Windsor with a Uranagi and got a 2 count. Windsor is up and daring Shafir to hit her as she screams pinned as Shafir basically obliged with some hard kicks, and we start slugging it out between the two women. They were laying in their shit in this one. Windsor hits a wild headbutt, but Shafir answers with a big boot for a reset. She hits a PK, and then Windsor won't stay down as she caught a kick, then threw multiple headbutts into almost like a big pressure or a made in Japan, and she actually gets the 1-2-3. Even though Shafir lost this one, she smiles in the post-match and starts flipping off Windsor. I guess she knew the result of what would happen when her husband faced Shafir's leader of the Death Riders later on in the show, but solid matchup here. A good start to the show. I'm going to give this one 3 stars. What did you think, Wendy, about Shafir versus Windsor?
Oh, I thought it was a hard-hitting match. Like, they were literally hitting each other. Like, it was like a back and forth. Their styles, like, I like their styles together. Like, their wrestling styles, very hard-hitting. Yeah, I'm happy Alex won. But I don't think this is gonna be the last of them. I feel like there's gonna be either one more match between them, and probably it's gonna be in Double or Nothing. Either them two, or I mean, it could be a possibility. Maybe Marina might beat Alex for the New Japan Strong title, and might be some interference either from the members of the Death Riders, or maybe Ronda Rousey. Or it could be a possibility if she can't beat Alex, then she'll get Ronda to fight her, and then Ronda will take the title. But it's not the last of these two. I really enjoy it. I give it a 3 stars.
J News.
I liked it, man. I have grown to just label Marina Shafir's matches bowling shoe ugly, because that is the aesthetic of her matches. They're all ugly, they're all hard hitting, they're all tough. But for me, based on her character and based on who she is in the company, it works. And Alex Windsor was up to the task. And yeah, man, they hit each other hard, bro. Like I figured it would be messy, but I didn't figure it would get to a point where it was knockdown drag out. So I give the girls credit for that. I didn't see Alex winning this match, to be quite honest. Being that it was a non-title match nonetheless, I thought that they would have Marina win here, and then like Wendy said, this is going to go on. That's why I thought Marina was going to win this and then probably get a title shot later on. But when they had Alex win, I was like, well, they're still going to continue the feud anyways. So that makes all the sense. But I enjoyed the match a lot.
What about you, John?
These ladies went out there and beat the shit out of each other, but they set the tone, I thought, for the rest of the night, especially when it came to the girls. Anytime the women went out there, they beat the shit out of each other tonight. It was kind of crazy. It's great. I have fun. I love that kind of wrestling. I mean, I hope everybody's okay afterwards, right? I love it when it doesn't lead to like drama backstage, but otherwise, if everybody's cool with it, then hell yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for sure. Then we had up next, well, we got to talk about what happened before this matchup aired. They showed a earlier in the day interview with TBS champion Willow Nightingale. They were kind of teasing that Willow was going to defend the TBS championship later on in the show. But before that could happen, Kamille makes her return to AEW for the first time since November of 2024. She attacks Willow backstage, injures her previously injured shoulder from Revolution, and re-injures it, taking out Willow, so Willow couldn't compete on the show. So Kamille got pushed and got put on the 0 hour. It was Camille's first match in AEW in 529 days. That is outrageous. Just outrageous. They pushed Kamille, basically wrapping up the filming of American Gladiators, which is going to debut very soon. She hits a pump kick, then she picks up her opponent, Big Ann, and delivers a torture rack into a spinning power bomb and gets the 1-2-3 in short order here. Post-match, Willow Nightingale went by the officials and trainers who were telling her not to go to the ring, and she stormed down to the ring to confront Kamille, but Kamille got the jump on her. She attacks her. She hits multiple corner splashes, then a pump kick, and she just glanced at Nightingale and stood tall over the TBS champion. It was then made later on in the show during the main card. We had a backstage interview with Willow Nightingale where she basically issues a challenge to Kamille. Since Kamille wants to come back and attack her, she wants to face Kamille for the TBS championship this coming Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, and that match was made official. So on AEW Dynamite Spring Breakthrough, Kamille will challenge TBS champion Willow Nightingale. What do y'all think about Kamille being back in AEW? Your redhead twin here, Wendy. What did you think about Kamille attacking Willow, getting the win, and then attacking Willow again?
I'm glad she came back. Shout outs to her and for joining American Gladiators. And also I think who else was there? Warlow, is it right? Yeah. Warlow, whoever, like Warlow, Kamille, and I forgot who else was joining American Gladiators.
The Miz is the host, and then they got Mr. Spectacular, who used to be in TNA and Big Brother.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, shout outs to y'all. Shout outs to them for joining American Gladiators. That's huge. Like whoever grew up watching Gladiators, me included. Like that's cool. That's really nice. Shout outs to them. I'm glad that she's back. 529 days without her wrestling. That's just crazy. That's just wild. But I'm glad she came back. Her attacking Willow. That's like she came in with a bang. She's like, I'm just not. She like literally came in with a bang, and like I'm excited. Hopefully hopefully it's not like a one-off like her match with Willow. Hopefully it's not a one-off like and then back to the back burner or whatever. Hopefully they do more with her because she's good. She's a good wrestler. So I'm excited to see more.
What about you, John? What did you think about Kamille's return?
I'm trying to do this thing where I don't say declarative things unless I'm joking, but I'm not joking. When I talk about this subject here, I think everyone should be able to work and live freely and make money. And I'm never calling for anyone's job, and no one should be fired or anything like that. But they tried. I haven't seen Kamille wrestle in a long time, right? Let's say that too. It's been, like you said, 500 days since she's been on AEW TV. Before that, it was like bad, like short chop matches that they were doing, and then before that, they were longer bad matches. And I mean that like I'm not saying that like I don't want to insult her or anything, but fuck, man, like her matches were really rough. So when she came to AEW, I was really wondering how they would utilize her. Like, and then when she was with Mercedes, I was like, that's great. She's a heater. She doesn't have to do like long matches where she's featured, and hopefully they don't try to do like a Kevin Nash thing with her. But she's here by herself now, and she comes and she does this small match with this lady Big Ann, and it wasn't like there was any improvement. I was like, it's the same shit. So like we have Megan Bain, we have Lena Cross, we have big women that are really good, and then Kamille comes and it's like your niche, the thing that you were here for, being big. Like we have better ones. I'm sorry if we're fighting for spots and shit. There are better ones here. So I was just like disappointed. Like, damn, this is what Willow's got to deal with now. So my hope is that maybe this is just like the beginning of a Mercedes return. Like I don't know, like maybe she's beating the shit out of Willow so that Mercedes can come and take her title or something. I don't know. I don't want her to take the TBS title. I'm just trying to cope with the fact that Willow is fighting fucking Kamille.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like they're using Willow, her new moniker of the comeback killer. They had her face Queen Aminata in her return, Hikaru Shida in her return, and now Kamille after she's returning. I'm honestly hoping this is leading to Britt Baker coming back, and that be another person that they can get back into play. But
so much rather Britt Baker than Kamille right now. People talk all this shit about Britt Baker. I like Britt Baker. I know she was a shit story.
I do too.
I know that's just wrestling to me. I was like, damn, I guess I grew up in a different era. But It was. I like Britt Baker much more than I like Kamille. Her work, anyway.
And I have seen Kamille have good matches, but that was in NWA. I haven't seen it in an AEW ring. Not that she had a lot of good opportunities to do that. Like she had a matchup with Britt Baker and a matchup with Chris Statlander. That's about it during her time. Other than that, it's only been squashes. But J News, what do you think about Camille's return here?
I thought it was surprising. One, I was telling a friend yesterday that TK went deep into his bench for this one because I wasn't expecting this return per se. Let me skip the speculation part of all of how Kamille is received backstage and just say that she was hired for a reason. I agree with John. She was supposed to be a big girl, athletic, kind of dominant looking. Now they got even better ones on both AEW and ROH. So it's her role's been filled. Does she have a specific look to her anymore? Not necessarily, but I will give her this. And it's something that NWA tried with her before she left. And she's a strong talker. And the women's division needs more of that. So if they let her get on the mic, I think that'll help carve out her niche. If they book it right, she can be a stalwart heel in the women's division for a while and not necessarily have to be, the in-ring competitor the majority of the AEW wrestlers are. So I think this is good for Willow having a fight from beneath with the injury, and now Camille is a strong heel. Will Willow get over? Will she win her match on Wednesday? Who knows? Like John said, the Mercedes thing is there as long as they are willing to work together. So it can be going from point A to point B very easily with Kamille from week to week. At the end of the day, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I don't expect these terrific matches from her. She's still not, to me, from a preference standpoint, from my eyes, she's not that great in the ring. But she can be used as a character on TV. So at the end of the day, I'm all for that. I don't agree with the Britt Baker part though. John, sorry, man. I'm just not a fan. So.
Hey, I'm there with you. I'm a Britt Baker guy, so I will support the Britt Baker agenda. But there's a lot of ladies. There's the Nyla Roses of the world. There's Ty J, Ty Mello, and Anna J that need to be back on TV. Anna J.
Anna J. I think
her contract is about to expire. Her contract's about to expire, so she's about to dip on out of here unless she's taking time off for herself, and then Tony's gonna probably add injury time to her contract.
Once that agent starts trying to negotiate, you disappear from TV for some reason. What happened?
Rough out here. But yes, let's go to the third match on 0 Hour. You had Jungle Jack Perry defending the AEW National Championship against Mark Davis of the Don Callis family. Davis early on completely ragdoll Perry to start the matchup. Perry used his speed to send Davis outside. He tried a slingshot cross body only to get caught. Davis ran around ringside with Perry, who escaped, posted Davis, and then hit a 619 around the ring post. We get Perry took too long going up to the top and was launched clear across the ring by Davis, who hit a home run sliding forearm shot in the corner, which had Jack Perry looking all dazed, looking right, breaking the fourth wall, but looking right into the camera. You get Davis, who hits this gnarly Falcon arrow on the apron. He hit Perry's body, hit the apron like a thud, but he was able to kick out. Davis turned Perry inside out with a big lariat, but again, Perry just beat the count. You get chop and lariat combos. Davis looked for his gut wrench power driver, but Perry was able to reverse that into a DDT. Perry went for a power driver up his own and hits it and gets a close near fall. The fans weren't buying that too. They thought it was a 3. Then Perry looked for the sacrifice knee, but Davis tried for a lariat, but was chopped down, but caught enough of an enziguri. Davis then tried his bounce back lariat, only Perry was ready for it this time as he hits a flash Hurricane Rana pin for the 1-2-3 to retain the AEW National Championship. I thought this was a really good matchup. A lot of fun. It was a nice David versus Goliath style matchup with Davis using his power and his strength and size advantage against Perry, and Perry getting a timely reversal to pick up the victory here to retain the national championship. J News, we'll start with you. I gave this match 3.5 stars.
Shouts to Jack Perry, man. He's out there doing what he can in order to be a spotlight on the roster with his national championship, even though I feel that national championship shouldn't exist, but he's out there doing his best.
Same.
Shouts to Dunkzilla for being his massive, burly bear man self and just continue to kill it in the ring. So I like the match. I had fun with it. I don't really have much notes on it. The only thing that I would want to say is, where does Mark Davis go from here? Because they had him on a hot streak on Dynamite in recent weeks. So him losing to Jack here kind of like resets him. And are they going to set up any sort of a story for Jack going forward? So that's my only question coming out of the match.
Wendy, what about you? What did you think about Perry versus Davis?
I thought it was really good. It was another hard-hitting match. I will say, though, that move that Davis did was on Jack on the apron. That was scary. Yeah. It looked like he almost broke the guy's neck. But yeah, it was hard-hitting. I enjoyed it. I agree with J News. Where they what's gonna go from here with Davis, and then what is going to happen with Jack Perry, moving forward, with his title reign, who's next for Perry, so, but yeah, I enjoy the match. I agree. I'll give it 3.5 stars.
Chuck Berry's, Luchasaurus is injured. He was literally on Revolution with his arm all bandaged up, brother. He's injured. He's gonna be out for a little while. And I saw somebody asking about Ruby Soho. Yeah, she had a baby, so I think just last year. So I think she's gonna be out just a little bit longer as well. That's why I didn't mention her. John, what did you think about Perry and Davis here?
I agreed with everyone else. Excuse me. I was gonna say you all enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the match. I think the thing about Jack Perry is that he probably I wish there was a way to propel him further into the card and it would work. I don't even see a path. Even with the title, I don't see a path upward for Jack Perry. So I guess I'm just glad that he's out there having good matches. Mark Davis, I love him. Mark Davis, I love you. No, I love wrestlers like Mark Davis. I love heavyweight wrestling. I'm glad that they have wrestlers like him, like Brody King. I know he took this loss here, but I think actually just him being on TV continuously like this is a pretty good sign for the future when I guess space opens up for someone like him. I can see a really good future for Mark Davis. Like I said, he fucking love him. Stan Hansen, someone mentioned Stan Hansen, Terry Gordy, fucking Kenta Kobashi style fucking clotheslines. It's awesome. I can't compliment it enough.
You just had MJF say that Mark Davis probably the most underrated big man in all of wrestling. So yeah, I think as long as he's still on TV, an opportunity is going to arise. He doesn't really need a story or anything like that. He just needs to keep being consistent, and that always seems to pay off for guys. They've always seemed to kind of turn that around and kind of repay you for your effort. But speaking of effort, The best effort on the 0 Hour for me personally was the final matchup on 0 Hour, as you had Hyan and Maya World challenging Divine Dominion, Megan Bayne and Lena Cross, for the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships. You get early on, Maya caught Cross with an enziguri, sending her staggering into her corner to tag Bayne, who missed a charge on Hyan. Hyan then took a rolling knee lift and a roll up, only got a 1 count. Bayne popped up and drove Hyan into the corner, but Hyan fought back. She hits a head scissors and a top rope crossbody, gets another 1 count. Hyan was then isolated, even taking a brutal chop to the mouth by Bayne. It hits a butterfly suplex. Cross follows up with a sliding lariat and gets a 2 count. Hyan fought back. He sidestepped Bayne, who charged full steam and posted herself in the process. Then she hot tagged to Maya World, who came in like a house of fire, running wild. Head scissors sent Cross stumbling into the corner before she ate a double jump drop kick. Then Bayne missed a corner splash and hit her own partner. Hyan made the tag and hits a running knee strike before a blockbuster neckbreaker combination by the babyfaces. Cross was up and dropped World with a big boot and a thrust kick. Then tagged in Bayne, who hit a Samoan drop fall away slam combo on the babyfaces. She then followed it with her flying lariat, but Maya was able to kick out. Hyan then saved her partner from taking the divine intervention. World then hit a double DDT. We get double drop kicks that send Bayne and Cross outside. Hyan then hit a low pay as Maya World was holding the ropes, and then Maya World hits a springboard moonsault onto the pile, and you can hear the crowd really getting into this one at this point. Cross and Hyan slugged it out. Cross then hits a pump kick, but Hyan reverses one of her moves for an Okada roll for a near fall. We get a TKO from Cross, plants Hyan, but Maya World was able to break up the cover. Bayne returned, and World took a running boot, release German suplex combination, and they call her flush with that one. Hyan was finally put away as she got hit with the divine intervention for the Divine Dominion to retain the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships. I thought this was a great match. One of my favorite matches that I've seen on 0 Hour in a long time. I'm a huge fan of Hyan and Maya World because I think they're a key example of maximizing their minutes. Whether it's on AEW or ROH, they always stand out. Maya's coming off of that excellent matchup that she had with Athena for the ROH Women's World Championship. Hyan's always showed good effort when she was like an extra, and now that they're signed, I thought this was a great showcase for them. Honestly, this was one of my favorite matches of the whole entire card. I give it 4 stars. John, what did you think about Hyan and Maya World versus Divine Dominion?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of that. I probably would have. I didn't want to say something and then undercut my own opinion. So, what I will say is that this was a complete breath of fresh air compared to the Willow and Harley Cameron stuff, and I love them both. But like this is what I watch AEW for. So like these girls went out there, they had probably the best match that these titles have seen so far, and I was fucking impressed with Hyan and Maya World there. That was awesome.
Yeah. What about you, Wendy?
I enjoyed it. I really like this match. These all 4 girls really showed out. You know, they really showed out. Cross and Bayne showing their dominance and like their power and how like they work really well together. You know, and then you have these and you have Hyan and Mayan World, like I give so much props to them because they take any opportunity they can get. From, you know, stepping in, which I commend them for stepping in, you know, for when the other team left or whatever. We won't talk about that. But I give them props. I praise them, and them showing out and Ring of Honor, and, you know, the match, as you said, the match that, you know, I had with Athena, like I commend them, and I can't wait to see more of them. you know, and because I don't know really much about them. So I seeing them in this light is like, oh, like I want to see what else. Like I want to see more of them. Like, you know, I want them to build their characters and see like, oh, what, like they could take it up there. They could take it straight to the heights, you know. So I really, really enjoy this match a lot.
J News, what about you?
Yeah, like Wendy said, I think the girls, all 4 ladies, they showed out in this match. I feel like they all had chips on their shoulders going into this match once the bell rung, and they wanted everybody else to follow them. And sure as hell, the next match sure as hell followed that up. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Megan Bayne and Lena Cross. I've been screaming for the last couple of weeks. Can we just get more physicality out of Lena Cross? And we finally been getting it. The girl is super athletic. She can do some stuff in there. She's not one of those girls who needs to work big. The athleticism shows, and she needs to get out there and do it. And she's been doing it the last couple of weeks. And I commend her for that. Megan Bayne's Megan Bayne, man. Whenever Megan Bayne gets crowned AEW Women's Champion, it'll be the day at the end of the day because she needs that. But High-End and Maya World, man, I can't say anything more than anybody else has said about those girls, man. Every opportunity they have, they reach for the stars for it. They turn up the energy when they're in the ring. They do it all, man. And I've been watching ROH in recent weeks on a regular basis, and those girls impress me, man. They get better every week. And this showing here against the dominant tag team that is the Divine Dominion just proved that they deserve to be in that tag division. And the tag division is a little bit deeper than most people think for the women. So I feel like they just need to put that more on the forefront. And Tony as in Tony Khan needs to do better about booking these matches with more time. Because why are you telling me on Saturday that they got this match tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't feel that, you know. But outside of that, the match was great. Give me more of all these ladies, but the young ladies got some time, and I like their theme song at the end of the day too, man.
I was gonna say that theme song is a bop. Shout outs to Victor Perry of the Wrestling Club. They killed it with that New Jack Swing. I don't think I've ever heard that
like
for a wrestling
the kids. They all
yeah. He's a singer.
That's
as well.
cool.
No, not the kid.
Okay. I thought the club made it.
No, Victor Perry, the teacher that created the wrestling.
Yeah. No. I thought the whole club did it. I was like, I'm sorry, that would have been a little cooler. No, they got the little choir.
But then the main card, I said earlier we would bring this up, but very good numbers so far for Dynasty, it seems, on Cage Match. So in reference, Revolution is still at like a 9.23 on Cage Match out of 10. Dynasty 8.8 on Cage Match.
That's fair.
That's pretty damn good.
That's pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good for sure. And I think a lot of that is down to this opener to kick off the show, as the Young Bucks are back once again in the opener, just like last month against FTR in that instant classic for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Matt and Nick Jackson are here to kick off the show, and they're going against the Don Callis families, Nosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada, the AEW International Champion. Of course, going into this matchup, Callis agreed that Takeshita could get a shot at the International Championship if he teamed with Okada here, and it was all about if these two men could coexist this time around. Early on, you get Nick and Takeshita starting things off, and man, this was a great sequence to kick things off. Eventually, Takeshita goes for the Takeshita line and hits it and then tags in Okada. Both men shake hands and they smirk. They have smirks on their faces before Okada hits a slingshot senton on Nick and then does the Young Buck pose to Matt. The delay allowed Matt to hit his Lucha Libre sequence on Okada and Takeshita. The Bucks followed that up with an assisted sliced bread and PK on Okada, as a series of standing switches allowed the Bucks to hit a sunset flip German suplex on Takeshita. They then clothesline Takeshita outside. We get an assisted big time springboard moonsault to the floor. Nick Jackson was on fire in this one, and it started off early. You get Okada, who tries to fly in with a drop kick when the Young Bucks try for the Meltzer driver early on Takeshita, but Nick fakes him out and he drops to the mat. So then they basically do something else instead, where they do basically a senton drop kick combination by Nick. Then the Bucks tried another dive, but Okada scouted it. Big smile on his face as he sends Nick crashing to the floor. Matt was taken outside as Callis raked the eyes of Matt as Okada distracted the referee, and we get big "fuck Don Callis" chants. Takeshita tried to pop up Matt from the floor to the apron, but Matt countered into a flipping stunner. We then get Okada, who swept out the leg of Nick outside, and then he basically puts on the Young Bucks gear. And if you know BTE, you have seen this multiple times, so I love they included it in this
Huge
matchup where he puts on the headband, puts on the ring jacket, he starts doing the poses. You get he's begging for a hot tag from Matt, and when Matt realizes it, you get the loudest pop when he gives the middle finger and starts laughing. Matt gives a super kick to Okada after that. Matt then turned into a Takeshita exploder and gets a 2 count. Matt hits a Casadora Bulldog on both men, and then finally makes a hot tag to Nick, who once again was on fire in this one. He hits a spinning kick, a top rope double foot stomp, rolling through into a backbreaker on Takeshita, Casadora cutter on Okada, and he gets a 2 count. The Bucks then get the dual sunset flips into the Scorpion Deathlock. Takeshita stops Okada from tapping out. They start slapping each other to motivate each other to scramble to the ropes. We get forearms from Takeshita, 15% from the Bucks, as Okada came in with an air raid crash neck breaker. Matt avoided a Takeshita Blue Thunder Bomb, but had help with an assisted Hurricane Rana as the Bucks went up and hit a dual senton elbows on the heels. Meltzer driver was blocked as Takeshita and Okada hit the reverse bastard driver tombstone combination and both get near falls. Takeshita then hits an avalanche reverse German suplex on Matt Jackson. He was about to hit the Wagamama, but Nick comes in and hits him with the super kick. Okada then flew in and hits a drop kick, tried a Rainmaker on Matt, who ducked but ate a power drive knee from Takeshita. Nick was able to tackle Okada into the pile to break up the cover. We get a top rope elbow drop from Okada, and then he flips off the crowd for the Rainmaker pose. Matt fought off a Rainmaker and Tombstone, and Nick flew in with a knee. We get Nick, who wanted a German suplex on Okada, who held on. So Takeshita tries a German suplex on Nick, who was still holding on to Okada, and then Matt slingshots into a sunset flip, and we get a triple German suplex as a result. Matt then tried a super kick on Takeshita, who countered it into the Blue Thunder Bomb, only for Nick launched off of his brother's back and hits the Destroyer. Takeshita no-sells that and hits the double Wagamama on both guys. The crowd is going crazy at this point. All four men start slugging it out as Okada, all of a sudden, he looks at Takeshita and they start slugging it out and throwing bows on one another. They just said, fuck this. Callis says, this was fine. That's fine. That's fine. No, nothing to see here. This is what they do to motivate each other. They caught Nick charging with a jumping knee drop kick combination. Matt shoved Okada into Takeshita for a 2 count as Takeshita ran in with the Wagamama once again, but this time he hits Okada instead. Matt then nailed a Poison Rana. Takeshita countered the BTE trigger into a double Takeshita line. Raging Fire was cut off by Okada, who wanted the Rainmaker, but Matt ducked and he hits a Takeshita instead. The Bucks then hit dual super kick party on Okada. They go for the BTE trigger and hit it, but Okada kicks out at 2.9. Meltzer driver was cut off by Takeshita initially, but then he just says, you know what? He lets go of Nick's foot. He lets him hit the Meltzer driver on Okada, and the Young Bucks pick up the victory here in an absolute banger. This one was fantastic. They had the crowd probably the loudest of the entire night. The Young Bucks are in top form right now. They are just balling on another level, proving why they're one of the greatest tag teams of all time and one of the best tag teams in the world, if not the best tag team in the world. And they just create magic kicking off these shows. They are the greatest leadoff hitters in AEW pay-per-view history, and every single time they go out there, they always deliver big time for one of the best matches on the show, and they did that yet again. Love the storytelling with Okada and Takeshita, with Takeshita just deciding to let Okada lose this one despite kind of having the incentive to get the win so he can get an international title matchup, even though commentary did mention that he's still in line and still wants that title shot against Okada, and even got in Okada's face after the matchup. They also released a digital exclusive where he said it was an accident, oops, and then walked away from Okada and Callis. So the storytelling was off the charts with those two. The Young Bucks know how to put the action, and these are four of the best wrestlers in AEW, delivering an instant classic here. I gave it 4 3/4 stars, and the only reason it's not 5 stars is because nothing was at stake. So that's the only thing missing for me to just say that this was perfect. But as an opener, I don't know if you can ask for any more than what they gave us here. Wendy, what did you think?
Oh, you're gonna start with me? Okay. All right. Let me just get this out of my system. But Takeshita. Sorry, Josh, if you're watching. I'm sorry, I had to. Okay. Okay. So I love this opening match. These 4 guys, as Sid said, they're amazing. They're awesome. They're great. I don't have the Young Bucks, great tag team. One of the greatest tag team ever. I'm going to say this. One of the greatest tag team. They always they always open, whenever they open the show, they always open with a bang. I love Young Bucks. Forever love Young Bucks. Okada and Takeshita, I love this heel side of Okada. I never expected it. I never expected this character to come out, and he's such an asshole. And I love that about him. And I love the interaction that he has with Takeshita. It's very older brother, younger brother type of vibe. And it's like this rival competition between them. And I love that. And I love the fact that Okada is such a douche. And even though he does it to Takeshita, which disrespectful, but I really love their interactions. And when at the last, when the last part, when freaking they were gonna do the Meltzer driver, and Takeshita held on to his leg, and he's like, you know what? You go ahead, do it. I was watching that, and I was just like, as you should, Takeshita, give Okada what he deserves. But yeah, I love the match. I can't wait for Okada and Takeshita at Double or Nothing. I'm gonna watch that live. I'm gonna be so fangirling over this man. I can't wait. I give it 4.5 stars.
John, what did you think?
Yeah, this was awesome. This was like you said, like everybody said already, the Young Bucks, greatest of this generation, one of the greatest of all time. They're my top 3 tag teams for in all of history. But fuck, this last run is it's so good that I'm pretty damn sure they're done. They're leaving forever. Yeah. They're retiring when this is over. And that's every performance that they have is, I'm just soaking it all in, because I know it's coming to an end. We're on the retirement run right now. They're not making a thing out of it, but it's gonna come out of nowhere for a lot of people one day, where they're we're putting our careers on the line. It's damn, I know it's coming. I'm scared, but this great win. Great win for the Bucks. Great loss for Okada and Takeshita, because it's a great character development for both of them.
Yeah.
The Revolution 2020 reference at the end, I love that. I was like, I didn't even know Takeshita. Like, this whole thing was so like BTE coded, like all the way around. Okada, the Bucks, the Revolution reference. I was like, damn, like this is really the end, bro. Like we're watching the series finale, and it's sinking in. So I've been giving them their flowers forever, and it sucks to have to like fight because I know, one, as soon as they retire, everybody's gonna suck their dick all of a sudden. But I was there from day fucking one. God damn it. The Young Bucks, one of the greatest of all time, forever. I can't wait to see Okada versus Takeshita, but getting this win leads to what I think is that eventual TLC at All In. I don't know if the Edge and Christian are old, but this seems to be the way that we're headed right now. Like big wins for the Bucks. Edge and Christian have their thing with FTR that we're going to talk about. We're headed to a good place right now.
Yeah, the tag team division is firing on all cylinders right now. Jay News, what did you think about the opener here?
Oh man, I don't think there's anything else I can say about the Bucks that everybody else hasn't already said. I just want to add that I feel like Takeshita and Okada are masters of their craft at the end of the day. For them to be able to go from serious, high-profile main event matches in New Japan to being semi-comedic acts in a tag team match where they're still going off inside the ring at the same time. It's unique. It's cool to see. And it's I think John said it earlier as well in referring to another match, but I'll say it here with this one, a breath of fresh air, man. It just is. And the callbacks to BTE with Okada always taking Nick's ring gear and putting it on and stuff like that or whatever, that to me was hilarious. And man, Takeshita really stepping out of his comfort zone, being a character on TV and embracing it now more than ever. The digital short that you mentioned, SP3, that I just finished watching on Twitter that happened after the match, Takeshita's fantastic right now, man. And I gotta give them that. Hopefully the match at Double or Nothing happens and they don't keep dragging this forever because it's been going on long enough. That being Takeshita versus Okada. If it goes down, we'll be in the same venue, Wendy, watching it live over in Queens. So that's going to be a big party atmosphere. At least that's the hope for Double or Nothing and whatnot. And that match is going to go down in wrestling history, I think, just because of who is in the match. And obviously they're going to have the international championship is going to be up for grabs and stuff like that. And yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to that match. But this tag match itself was tremendous. You saw all the usual Young Bucks spots. The Nick Jackson hot tag, which is the best hot tag in wrestling history at the end of the day. Matt Jackson still being able to show his ring awareness and strength as a smaller wrestler when he's in there has always been cool. And yeah, man, I used to say that AJ Styles had the best drop kick in the business, and for years SP3's been fighting me about this Okada thing. And I finally must just lay it down, man. Like, Okada has the best drop kick in the business. There's nothing around it at this point. Like, damn, man, it's
the timing of it. Yeah, it just gets me so hyped every time. I'm like, the drop kick. Let's go.
And it's always on the money. He never misses it. It's always high. It's always in the head air. Like, the dude, it's perfect every freaking time. And Takeshita has the prettiest Blue Thunder bomb in the entire business, man. Sorry, Sami Zayn, but that Blue Thunder bomb from Takeshita there's nothing like it, man. Ain't nothing like it.
Yeah. I mean, that's so well timed as well with that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, man. But this tag match was tremendous. They followed up the girls' match right away and made it, it's on fire was the building. And shouts to Vancouver. I think someone mentioned in the chat early when we started that they felt like the Vancouver crowd wasn't it. Like,
yeah, I disagree. I think it was back-to-back great pay-per-view crowds. Like, not as great as like Los Angeles, but that was like an all-timer, like a top 5 AEW pay-per-view crowd. This was really great. Like, some people were worried going into the show because this is like 9,000 people in a building that can hold like 17,000. That doesn't always equate to the crowd being loud, but I thought they were loud from the very beginning. They got into that women's tag team matchup, and then they were even louder for this one.
Yeah, man.
Not every crowd could be us. Sorry, guys.
That's true. But I'll say this. I was worried going into the Vancouver show because of how the crowds were, at least the way that they came off on TV in Canada, were not great the last couple of weeks. So going into Vancouver and stuff like that, and the crowd was on it from the 0 hour, and especially after this first match, I was like, thank God. So that was my feeling going into it. So shouts to Vancouver. That's definitely an AEW city. So yeah, shouts to them.
Yeah, I was gonna say this in my review, but then I saw Fitz said it in the super chat. But yes, thank you, Fitz, for the super chat donation. He's got the laughing emoji. Says SP3, your tweet yesterday comparing the Splash Brothers versus Jordan and Pippen to Takeshita and Okada versus the Young Bucks was gold. Yeah, that's it. It hit me because the whole convo about them being Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, I was like, well, the Young Bucks have to be a basketball reference as well. I was like, the Splash Brothers. They are the Splash Brothers. This is Jordan and Pippen on the other side. It just worked so well. And that's what it was, the wrestling equivalent of that. We never got to see it on a basketball court, but we got to see it in a pro wrestling ring. The Splash Brothers, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson versus Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. That's what this matchup was. That's how good this damn thing was. One of the best tag team matches of the year so far. But then we had a big return on the show, in-ring return for Chris Jericho, as he went one-on-one with Ricochet, who had the Gates of Agony in his corner. Jericho had a huge response from this Vancouver crowd. This Vancouver crowd went crazy for Jericho here. And notice I'm saying Jericho, just Jericho now, not Chris Jericho. The name bar and the ring announcer just announced him as Jericho. So he's Prince. Early on, we get some arm drags between the two men, and we get "You Still Got It" chants for Jericho, as Jericho told the cameraman that he never lost it. We get ball chants for Ricochet as the fans start teasing him. Jericho shined Ricochet's head at one point before taking a ringside camera and getting a up-close zoom in on Ricochet and saying balls. You get a float over from Ricochet, who did his handspring Spider-Man pose, but gloated too long and ate a series of chops from Jericho. Jericho played too much into the crowd as he went for a lion salt, only for Ricochet to basically send him crashing over the top rope to the apron. He hits a DVD on the edge of the ring frame. We get a tope suicida as Ricochet smashed Jericho into the steel steps before sweeping the legs back inside. Jericho came firing back with some shoulder blocks using his good arm, but put the brakes on a Ricochet drop kick, leading to him finally hitting the lion salt, which got a big pop from the crowd. Jericho tried for the walls of Jericho, but Ricochet spun out of it. Only Jericho hit a hip toss and then placed his hair on Ricochet's head and then got some laughs for that. Ricochet shielded himself with Aubrey and pulled Jericho into the ropes, tried a Northern Light suplex, but Jericho spun out of that into another Walls of Jericho attempt. Toa Leona took the referee again as Khan jumped in the ring and sent Jericho into the ropes, giving Ricochet a chance to hit a DVD and a running shooting star press for 2. Jericho floated over on the vertical and hits the code breaker and gets a near fall. We get the yay and boos as they exchange punches. Ricochet dodged another code breaker and hit the Benadryller, followed up with a rolling Northern Light suplex into the vertical, but only gets a near fall with that one. In a great moment of the matchup, Ricochet tries for a shooting star press, but Jericho gets up in time and catches him in midair with a code breaker and gets a 2 count. Jericho finally got on the walls of Jericho as Ricochet struggled mightily to get to the ropes. Eventually, Khan distracted the referee so Toa could pull him over to the ropes. Jericho hits a baseball slide. He takes care of the demand at ringside. He sends Leona crashing into the railing, hits the Judas effects on Bishop Khan, but Ricochet takes the referee so Toa recovers and mows him down on the outside. Back in the ring, Ricochet hits a shooting star press, but only gets a 2. He goes for the spirit gun, and he actually hits it, but then Toa tells him to do the thing, and he hits the lion salt himself and beats Chris Jericho with his own move. Ricochet picking up the win here against Jericho. I thought this was a good matchup. It just didn't need to be 19 minutes. Like, goddamn, they had a good 10 to 12 minute matchup in them, and they just extended it for way longer. But Jericho looked in the best shape that he's been in a very long time. He was busting out Hurricane Radas off the top rope, hitting the lion salt very well. He was moving in the ring very briskly, so you could tell he got into great in-ring shape before this matchup. And the fact that it was a surprise finish. I think everybody, while coming into this one, expected Jericho to pick up the win in his in-ring return. So Ricochet getting the win here was a big surprise. So I'll give them credit for that. I gave this match 3.5 stars. What did you think, John?
Yeah, I gotta agree with 3.5 stars. That's a pretty good rating for this. It was one of Jericho's best physical performances in a while, even though a lot of the work was on Ricochet for this, just the story they were trying to tell. Ricochet did most of the beating. Jericho just kind of took it and came back from under in the end, and he did it well. It was towards the end where I realized he's like really tired. I was like, fuck. Like, get him out of there right now. And then, like you said, it went for like 5 more minutes after that. So it was like, shit. We could have maybe pushed him a little too far. But especially after that, he took a fucking DVD on the apron. I was like, no, God, like handle them with care. Like, he's gonna die out there. He's
56. He's 56.
But listen, I guess he got in the best shape of his life, and he's gonna want to prove he can hang with the people that are in AEW now. And I was like, well, we'll see how that turns out, because Edge did the same thing, and then he hopped off a fucking cage all hyped up. He broke his leg. So just calm down. I think, like, if we handle Jericho with care, they won't turn on it the way they did last time, where it got a little out of hand. I'm interested in seeing what exactly he's doing. It feels like he's just gonna play the hits. It feels like that's on purpose. Again, I'm still intrigued with what exactly Jericho is doing, but for now, it looks like he's going to be dealing with the demand and Ricochet. I wonder if that means that he's going to go find friends or something.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe he reunites with Paid in Full. Who knows there? But what did you think, Wendy, about this one?
I thought it was a good match. I agree with you and John was saying. I was surprised that it went that long. You know, I honestly, for his comeback, like, I know a lot of people were thinking this was going to be the match that was going to be like, it's like not up there, but it was it was surprisingly good. You know, as you guys said, Jericho looks great. You know, he put in work to come back, you know, shape, like body shape great, and show like, hey, he could still hang with the young guys. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I was surprised that Ricochet won. I didn't, you know, as many say, like, I didn't think he was gonna win. I thought, obviously, if you coming back, you're gonna win the match or whatever. I thought Jericho was gonna win, especially in British Columbia, you know, Canada, and everyone was going, like, the fans, like, they love Jericho. So I was surprised that he lost, but I do want to see what Jericho's gonna do after this. Like, I want to see what are they gonna do. Like, what's he gonna do? And also, is he gonna continue with the feud with Ricochet? Is, like, what's gonna happen? So I'm very intrigued by this. But overall, I give it a 3 stars.
What about you, Janus?
I enjoyed this, man. To be quite honest, I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, and then the storytelling elements of it, where it was basically Jericho trying to prove that he can still hang with the younger generation, and things of that nature, proved to work well in this match. Like Wendy said, like John said, like you said, like Jericho looked great in there. Jericho being this version of himself, wearing the purple, just like Prince, stuff like that. Homage there, because we all know Jericho loves music and all that jazz. So that's an interesting tidbit to pay attention to there. And I think that Jericho proved that he can still hang, but there's a part of me that feels like there's a little bit of funk in him, in the sense of he's going to be middle-aged and crazy for this particular run. And he's going to want to do shit that he shouldn't be doing, but he's going to do it anyways. So that's what I'm getting from the match feel. And we'll see what he does character-wise on the mic and all that stuff. I want him to steer away from having to build a faction, to be quite honest. That's where he's been pigeonholed his whole time with AEW. I just want him to be on his own and develop stories on his own, instead of having or wanting to bring guys up with him. I think the era for that to happen with AEW is over. So especially when it comes to the older talent, I know that, for example, the Hurt Business is looking for a young prospect as well. And it's like, nah, man, at this point, just let these dudes shine on their own. They don't need the established wrestlers to be doing this stuff for them anymore. You know what I'm saying? It was cool back, a couple of years ago, but now it's like, it's just different and whatnot. If you can perform and perform well and it looks good, cool. If it doesn't and if it's bad, then you're sinking at the end of the day. You can't have the established performers out there trying to hold your hand and save you just cause. So with that being said, I want Jericho to do this particular run of his, where he's doing the greatest hits on his own, not have to have, to depend on younger wrestlers to fight his battles for him or just be involved in this in that way. But if he's going to continue to be involved with Ricochet and the demand, he's going to need some partners at the end of the day. So we'll see as to how that goes and where that goes. But yeah, man, I thought that the match was solid. I enjoyed it, and on to the next.
And the next up was basically a number one contenders matchup. You had Andrade El Idolo going one-on-one with Darby Allin. If Darby won, he would get a shot at the AEW World Championship. Darby opted not to brawl in the early going, showing off his technical prowess. He got some headlocks, some hammerlocks in the early going, as Andrade quickly tried for the DM. Allin wanted a coffin drop, but both men had each other scouted. Andrade got thrown into the ropes, and he does his pose, his Tranquilo pose, which calls for Darby to do basically a tope suicida into Andrade's chest, and both men went crashing outside. Andrade was able to gain the upper hand. He walked Allin up the steps in the crowd. He looked for a suplex. He paced You get Darby, who came back. He hits a shotgun drop kick and lands back first on the steps in the crowd, sending Andrade flying down. He landed horribly. He landed worse than Andrade did with that one. They spill back into the ring, where Allin hit a coffin splash but collapsed briefly, allowing Andrade to hit the three amigos, the third sending Allin crashing into the corner. Then you get Andrade missed a corner charging knees, giving Allin a chance to hit his float over stunner into a double down. Allin then missed a charge as Andrade brought him up to the ropes, gets a fireman's carry, but then Allin is able to reverse the fireman's carry into a freaking reverse crucifix bomb into a crossface, but Andrade just got to the ropes. We get Allin, who gave Andrade no chance to recover, as he threw himself to the floor and hits a wild tope, resulting in Allin crashing into the commentator's table. sitting Andrade on a chair, and he hits his signature missile drop kick, and he does a back bump onto the floor. Allin then wanted it to suplex Andrade back into the ring from the apron, but the tables were turned. Andrade suplexed Allin to the floor. You could hear him go splat there. Then Andrade hits the corner double knees back in the ring, but Allin kicks out at 2. We get the "take your pants off" freaking chant from the crowd, and Andrade obliges and takes his pants off to the pop of the crowd. We get McGinnis, who pointed out all the women fainting at ringside. Andrade hits his rolling moonsault. He just hits that so smooth. It doesn't matter how many times he does it. I don't care. You see Allin is bleeding from the mouth at this point. Andrade dares Darby to fight back as we get a loud slap battle between the two. Andrade just slapped the living hell, the life and soul out of Darby. He goes for a reverse DDT, but Darby's able to scale the ropes and reverse into the Scorpion Death Drop and into the Coffin Drop. Andrade gets pinned down for 1, 2, and then he stops Aubrey Edwards from counting down to 3. Allin wanted a code red, but Andrade flipped him back to his feet and then hits his running back elbow, which is one of the best moves in the business. He gets a very close 2.9. He tries for the DM, but it's blocked as him and Andrade fight and tussle until freaking Allin is able to get him into the Last Supper, gets the 1, 2, 3, and picks up the victory here to earn his opportunity at the AEW World Championship. This was an absolutely terrific matchup. These two guys just went balls to the wall. This one was like over 15 minutes, but it was nonstop action. You got Darby taking these ridiculous bumps. You got Andrade, who has proven himself to be one of the best wrestlers in the world. You see post-match, frustrated Andrade, he gets up and he actually offers a handshake to Darby. They shake hands in a mutual show of respect, acknowledging that Darby got the best of him, but Darby was also actually able to show kind of his technical ability, being in there with someone like Andrade. But his bumps and his selling is just the main point of why Darby Allin is an excellent professional wrestler. For all you can say bad about Darby, you can't lie to me and tell me he's not good to great in the ring when he's out there with another great performer like on Andrade here. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I love this matchup. Wendy, what did you think?
I mean, what can you say? I mean, these two are amazing wrestlers. And honestly, you can put anybody with Darby, like Darby will put on a match. And like it just shows like he's not just, crazy wrestler that takes bumps and tends to like kill himself every time he hits the ring or whatever. Like he shows like he could literally wrestle. And then to have Andrade too, like Andrade showed out as well. I commend both of them. Like, this was a really great match. I enjoyed it. It was also like close calls. Like I didn't know who would win. Like, because it could have been either Andrade, it could be either Darby. Any one of them could have won the match. But I'm happy Darby won, and I give it 4.5 stars. I really liked it. Enjoyed it a lot.
John, what did you think about Andrade and Darby here?
Man, there were so many moments where I thought somebody was going to die. Why the fuck did Darby Allin do the Samoa Joe dropkick on them stairs? Like, what the fuck? The first, like, Joe always talks about, oh my God, that was horrible for my career, whatever. And Darby's like, wee! And he gets up and he immediately has a giant ass whelp on his back from the stairs. I'm like, man, I know he's fucking crazy, but how does that even work? Like, how are you still walking? Like, I understand if you're like, oh, pain, I can take the pain, but how the fuck is your body still moving? Like, how are your bones still intact? Because, man, not even it's just that, but that reversal, I don't even know what Darby put him. It wasn't like a brutalizer. It was just like he had his Andrade's arms and locked with his legs when he did that moonsault. I thought Andrade broke his neck. I was like, he's dead. He's dead. Yeah, and the fact that everybody came out of this alive means that this was awesome, and I would love to see more. Nah, of course, I don't want to see him almost die all the time, but it's fucking cool. That's why I was like, damn, if Darby wins the belt, I mean, just have him go on a crazy ass run of weekly defenses real fast. That'd be wild. Just doing Darby Allin shit with the title as champion for like 6 weeks or however many weeks until Double or Nothing, and he can drop the belt to MJF and everything's fine. You got a fucking wild ass run as world champion, short and fast, and it burns out just like Darby Allin would want it. He said crucifix bomb, crippler crossface. Oh,
That's what he did. He did a reverse avalanche crucifix bomb into a crossface.
Insane. I love this company. Actually, because no normal people would have been like, what normal agent was like, yeah, I'll put that down. What the fuck, bro? I'm glad they lived. That shit is wild.
There was so many instances where I was just like, what is Darby doing? Why is he taking these bumps? But yeah, I also agree with the chat who's saying the flash pin, the best flash pin that Darby does is the Last Supper. So I'm glad he busted it out here to get the win. That made sense for Andrade to lose that way because he got too cocky going for the DM. J News, what did you think about Darby and Andrade?
I thought it was too short. If I'm being honest, I thought the match was too short. I felt like they could have taken the extra 5 minutes from Jericho's match, given it to Andrade and Darby, and we would have gotten a little bit more of a swell in that match. But what we got was excellent, terrific, fantastic, stupendous. Whatever freaking adjective you want to use to describe Andrade versus Darby Allin is what it was. To piggyback off of something that Wendy said, something I've been saying for years. Miss me with the Darby Allin bullshit online. The man is a terrific in-ring wrestler. I've been saying this forever. It's not dives, stunts, fire. Nah, man. He can grapple with the best of them. And he uses his body like a weapon, like no one else that this world has ever seen. And I also say, I said this to a friend of mine yesterday. I've never seen a wrestler wrestle with as much velocity as Darby Allin. The physics can't explain it at times. It's like how he goes from 0 to 100 in less than a second is beyond me in movement. It's like, dude, how do you do it? How do you do it? Right? And for him to get the win here with the Last Supper pin, like John said, I was like, perfect. A professional wrestling hold for the freaking win. Of course, this makes complete sense to me. But I'll say this. I'm not worried about Andrade. I just have in my head, it's like the man is prime. He's ready. He should be at the top of the card. But where does this take him after this Darby loss necessarily, right? Because now for the last couple of months, he's been in the main event picture, right? Obviously, from a character standpoint, we can see he might be out of the DCF sometime soon. Because Don Callis is always willingly volunteering Andrade's services without his knowledge and stuff like that. Obviously, Andrade just shook Darby's hand at the end of this match. So what does this say about Andrade? Things of that nature. So from a character development standpoint, there's interest, there's intrigue there. But like from a booking standpoint, it's like, I would like him to get more wins. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like he deserves to be in that upper echelon picture. But it's crowded right now, so we'll see as to how it goes. And as I said during our preview, and I said it earlier here, Darby win Wednesday. It's coming. It's happening on Dynamite. It's happening in Washington. For those of y'all who aren't going to like it, I don't feel bad for you. So, I don't feel bad for you. You know what I'm saying? So
there you go.
It's gonna happen, but terrific match, man. So in one, I want to bring up this one last point. In one single match, I would have never thought to hear the chant of "Take your pants off and fight forever" in the same match, but it happened during this match. Shout to Vancouver for that.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, like, do you think that Andrade's turning babyface with this show of respect afterwards? And would they tell two concurrent storylines with Takeshita seemingly needing to go babyface in his rivalry with Okada, and then Andrade turning babyface? Because I said it before, he's Mexican Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. That's what he is. And he's so popular with the fans right now, and he just continues to be. So what do you think, Jay News? Is Andrade turning babyface?
I feel like he is. For those folks who didn't grow up watching Lucha Libre or Triple A in its heyday, there was a wrestler in the 90s and the early 2000s by the name of Latin Lover. He's still alive, but Andrade's taken a lot of his inspiration from the Latin Lover gimmick from there, and what he's doing with it, I feel, and what's been going on with AEW now, the face turn is, I feel like it's inevitable. But for me, from a preference standpoint, I feel like they've never done LFI right or justice in AEW. So at some point in Andrade's run, they need to run that back and run it back the right way. But I think here for right now, yeah, he'll turn babyface. I'm just not sure what it's going to look like. But the fans definitely love him. Women and men both. They swoon over Andrade. So hey, man, it's all there for the taking at the end of the day.
What about you, Wendy? Do you think Andrade's turning babyface?
It's possible. I could see it. I don't think, probably not anytime soon. I mean, the fact that, as you said, like Don Callis keeps like putting him in matches without even bothering asking him reminds me of the manager at my job right now. Like she does the schedule. She be putting people on the schedule without asking them. Like she's basically Don Callis right now. Yeah, I can see it. I could, as Jay New says, like, women love him, women go crazy for him, men love him. Like he has a good streak coming on, and he's a great wrestler at the same time. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does turn babyface. I could see it, but as Jay New says, how's that going to look? We don't know. But probably not anytime soon, but I can see it at the coming.
Yeah. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if it's as I don't know if it's gonna happen as simple as like Andrade just leaves the Don Callis family, but I do think we're gonna see them lean more, and I think we have so far. Even though he's been a heel and he beats people up after the match, sometimes he's pleased to the crowd and he does what they ask him to when they chant, and he's pretty much a babyface already. But we're gonna see it clash with like Don Callis. I'm sure he's like, "Why did you shake Darby's hand? What were you thinking?" He's gonna say probably it's just business, like you said. You told me it was just business. So I don't think we're gonna see him separate from Don Callis yet. And as far as Jay News mentioned the LFI thing, I think that'd be really cool. I like seeing Roosh on TV again, and I feel like they're starting to. I don't know what happened. I don't know what broke down last time, but he seems okay now. And it seems like they're trying to earn that trust again now. And I know Roosh is a little explosive, so I know maybe they're like worried to give him a main position on TV. So having Andrade as the de facto leader of the LFI, or at least the guy that gets the world title shots, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. And mentioned it as well before. We would hear from Darby Allin later on in the show. Renee Paquette interviewed him backstage and talked about his win and now having a shot at the AEW World Championship. He says if there was ever a time to cash in his world title shot, it is in Everett, Washington, where he started his career. He tells Max and Kenny he'll be watching because come Wednesday, it's showtime. So the question is it going to happen? You got the likes of John Alba and Sean Ross Sapp saying that they think that Darby Allin is winning the AEW World Championship. John Alba's been saying this since like February. So is it going to happen on Wednesday in Everett, Washington? Is Darby Allin winning the AEW World Championship? John, what's your final answer?
Yes. Absolutely. Guaranteed, actually. I put that at like a 95% certainty, unless he gets hit by a bus from sometime now to Wednesday, because apparently these things just fucking happen to Darby Allin. But if he makes it
This
to
is true.
Wednesday, we're gonna see a new champion, and it's gonna be great, and you're all gonna love it.
Wendy, what's your final answer?
Oh gosh. I want him to win. I want him to be champion. Do I sense there's going to be some fuckery going on? Probably. Might be some interference on MJF. I wouldn't be surprised if it leads to a DQ and it heads to double or nothing. I wouldn't be surprised. But I am hopeful that he does become champion.
J News, you've already given your answer, so I'll give my answer. I'm gonna say yes. It's gonna happen. Am I happy about it? Not necessarily. I think that we missed the peak on Darby Allin, and I know there's people in the chat that's were like, "Oh, it's just gonna happen on a random episode of Dynamite." It's not a random episode of Dynamite. It's Spring Breakthrough, which they established last year. As last year, it was the best Dynamite episode of the entire year. It's a TV special. 1, 2, it's in Everett, Washington, where he started his career, so it's basically in his hometown. He's gonna get a big pop because of that. And 3, it's fucking WrestleMania week. They need something big. They need something noteworthy to get some headlines between all of this. So I think that it's great timing on their part. So bravo to them. I think they're gonna do it. They're gonna pull the trigger. Darby Allin, new AEW World Champion on Wednesday.
There's gonna be pandemonium in Everett, Washington. That's all I gotta say. Pandemonium.
Yep.
But yes, we got more to discuss from this pay-per-view, of course. Next up was the 4th match on the main card for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It was Adam Copeland and Christian Cage challenging the AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler. This one would start off with Stokely showing off the Christian's watch that he stole from him on Wednesday. Cage had his shoulder taped as it's Wheeler offering a handshake to Copeland early on, who slaps it away. And then basically we get a hockey fight to start off with all 4 men brawling for a bit. The crowd starts singing "Oh Canada" for Cope and Cage as Copeland sends Wheeler crashing repeatedly into the railings. You get Harwood, who took a right hand from Cope, which gave Wheeler long enough a chance to catch Copeland on the apron with a knee lift and then a draping DDT. Copeland is worked over, but until he finally breaks free and makes the hot tag to Christian Cage, who quickly stepped onto both members of FTR in the ropes. He dished out 20 corner punches to both men and hits a reverse DDT on Cash, a mule kick as he holds on to the referee on Dax, and then sent both FTR crashing outside. Cage flipped off Stokely, went up top, and does a big dive off the top rope to the floor. Back inside, Dax went right after the injured hand and shoulder of Cage. He decked him with a lariat before looking for a kill switch of his own. Only Cage countered into one of his own and got the near fall. Wheeler broke the count and then snapped at the arm of Christian over the top rope. FTR wanted the powerplex, but Cage hits Harwood with a diving headbutt for the double down before making the hot tag to Cope, who flew off the top rope with a big clothesline. Manhattan drop to Dax, spear off the apron to Cash as Harwood dodged a spear but didn't dodge the Impaler DDT. He got a near fall with that. Copeland and Cage tried the powerplex, but Dax got his knees up Cage's splash while Cash went off the top rope and he got caught with Cope's knees. We get an educator by Cope on Harwood, switched into a crossface. Then we get Christian cuts off Cash and he gets in a crossface of his own. So FTR in double submission. Why is this familiar in Canada? We get them saving pushing each other. Wheeler grabs one of the tag team titles. They get a tug of war, and it leads to Cash blasting Cope with the title, and you see it on the replay instantly. Hard way blood for Cope. This was great on the replay where you saw the little trickle of blood, and then it just makes this great crimson mass for Cope. Cope was busted open as FTR tried for a shatter machine on Christian, but Cope hits a fallout slam on Hardwood. Wheeler eats a shatter machine by Cope and Cage, but only gets the 2 count. Copeland and Cage then tried for the spike power driver, but Stokely pulled at Christian's bad arm. Then we get Cope, who put a chase on Stokely, but ran right into the shatter machine when he comes back into the ring. We get Stokely and Dax start arguing because Christian throws Stokely into the ring to break up the count. Then Stokely tried to blame it on referee Paul Turner, who shoved Stokely out of the ring. Spear on Dax gets a 2 count as Wheeler flew in with the splash to break up the cover and dropped Copeland with a power driver. Now Wheeler grabs a steel chair, but Christian rips it away from him. This leads to Christian running into the ring post with the steel chair connecting to his bad arm. He's thrown into the timekeeper's area and he's basically out of it. It leaves FTR with the bloody Copeland, who tries to fight them off, but FTR starts getting the super kick party, mocking the Young Bucks. They go for the FTR trigger, but Cope's able to dodge it, and he hits a double spear and he gets a near fall on that for the reset. Then we get Wheeler, who dodges another spear. FTR finally puts Cope away as they hit another shatter machine, 1, 2, 3, to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I thought this was a great kind of old school, bloody, like beat 'em up brawl. It looked like gritty at times and also clunky at times, but it worked for the feel of this matchup. You felt the actual hatred between these two teams, so it worked out really well. I like this match a whole lot more than I like their All Out match. I'm going to give this one 4 stars. J News, what did you think about Cope and Cage versus FTR? And a surprise finish, because I think most everyone thought that Cope and Cage was winning here.
Yeah, including myself. I thought Cope and Cage would win this match, but they didn't in Canada. So that sucks for Cope and Christian. But I want to say that anytime FTR is given time to put together a wrestling match on a pay-per-view that, means something to the wrestling fan, it always comes out incredible. And this is one of those matches. Cope and Christian are old. They are. That's just age for you. But what they were able to pull off in this match, I thought was fantastic. Adam Copeland getting blasted with that belt and bleeding the hard way was unexpected, but it worked well for the match. And I thought Cope did tremendous for the majority of the match when he was in there on his own. Christian Cage just pulling off the character work as best as he could. And they're, those dudes are timeless no matter where they are. Both Cope and Christian, both as characters and as ring generals at the end of the day. And they proved that here. Look, man, I used to give Stokely a lot of shit, but he's terrific in this role, man. Stokely Hathaway is terrific in this role, and joining him up with FTR is the best thing Tony Khan has ever done. And it's just showing on a week-to-week basis. And for Dax and Cash, I can't say anything really much more about them. I think they're up there with the Bucks as one of the best tag teams of this generation, let alone in history. Just because of all the great matches and feuds, and they're old school at the end of the day, but with new school flair at the same time, so they can hang with the younger guys as well. So yeah, man, this match was way, somebody said in the chat, was way better than it had any business being. But with everybody involved, I didn't expect anything less, to be quite honest. So I got my money's worth with this match. They're gonna run this back at some point. This isn't over. I want to see how the Bucks get involved in this based on their win earlier in the night. Will they take on FTR first? Will they fiddle with the Cope and Christian match first? I wonder what the what the sequence is going to be leading up to probably an eventual 3-way down the road. So, but I really like this match.
Wendy, what do you think about FTR, Cope, and Cage?
I enjoyed it. It was old school, as you said. It was an old school. Like, I feel like it's like a match that you've seen back in the day. Very old school, hard hitting. And given the age that Cope and Christian are, like, they could hang with the young guys, you know, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people thought, as you said, a lot of people expected Christian and Copeland to win, especially in their hometown in Canada, but shockingly they didn't. But I don't see the last of this. I honestly, I can see them having another match with FTR, but FTR, you can't say nothing wrong about them. They are, as you said, they are up there with the Bucks. As they claim, they are the greatest tag team of all time, as they say. But they're up there with the Bucks and other great tag teams. They never change who they are. They say what they say. They say they're top guys, and they put in the work. And they show you how they're top guys and how they are the greatest. So I give it, for this match, I give it 4 stars. They're gonna have another one. And the fact that they took a shot at the Bucks when they did the super kick and stuff like that, like, they throwing shots. Like, oh, we know you coming for us, and we're ready. We're ready for you guys. It's just a matter of how is it gonna come together. But overall, I enjoyed it. 4 stars.
John, what did you think?
Yeah, it was great. This night was full of surprises. I guess, well, like, half my predictions were all off. This was one of the big ones. I would have sworn that Edge and Christian were gonna win. There was a report this morning from Fightful that was like, we can confirm Edge was busted open hard way. And I was like, yeah, the source of the fucking slow motion video. That
Exactly. The slow motion replay showed that.
That's the funniest thing that come out of that match. But Edge seemed okay. Like, I think we can laugh about it. He had the rest of the match. He didn't seem wobbly or concussed or anything. But the force that you have to get hit with that piece of metal to not just touch you, but to bust you open the way it did, because it busted him open. Just insane. Like, we should probably keep him out of the ring for however long it takes. Because damn, even if he wasn't wobbly, there had to be some type of concussion-ish damage done there, because that was nasty. But otherwise, great match. Edge and Christian are masters. I mean, like, masters of the ring. Like, it does. Their styles will just shift with whatever their bodies can do until their bodies can't go anymore. It's that those are the kind of wrestlers that last the longest. So no problem here. FTR, like chameleons, any type of style team they get in there with, they work great with. So this was awesome. I'm glad that they kept the belts. I guess Edge and Christian winning the titles immediately. If they're gonna get the belts anyway, then what does it really matter, right? The thing about them is did they ever lose a TLC match in WWE? No. And it's
well, except for TLC 3.
Did they lose 3? The SmackDown one. Yeah. I forgot that one happened. I only ever remember the other Raw one.
They never lost a 3-way ladder match.
Yeah. The ones that count. I think if we're gonna have another 3-way TLC, why not have that be the time that they win the title? As much as it sucks that they didn't win it in front of Canada, but, like, are they even from Vancouver? Like, is Is any of them from Vancouver? I thought Toronto was the big deal for it.
Yeah, they're from Toronto. So
Yeah.
they're only from Canada. They're Canadians. So yeah, the
So I
Canadians
guess-
were 0-2 at this point.
You're gonna get nothing tonight. No, they got cut. They got one.
Yeah, they would get one later on in the show. But yeah, good question. Who does FTR face at Double or Nothing now? Coming off the heels of this loss for Copeland Cage. Feels like too soon to go back to the Young Bucks. So who would be the next up to face them at Double or Nothing? What do y'all think?
What team has been being built on television that I can think of besides
Jet Speed.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, but they have to have Kev defend that TNT championship.
Yeah.
For all
I didn't know
intents
that's been basically a TV title. This was like the first pay-per-view
Yeah.
in a while that has been defended. He's gonna defend it on TV. He's defending it on Wednesday. And we'll get into that, his win, but that's the only real like babyface tag team that's been built up, unless they did tease Hurt Syndicate as well when they made their in-ring return on Collision.
Yeah,
That's
Dion brought it up
that
in
would
the chat.
suck.
the Syndicate being the next up wouldn't be bad, because the Syndicate, they're not heels, but they're not baby faces either. They're tweeners and stuff like that, and you know they're old school guys as well. So I think they can have a pretty good tag match and whatnot. So,
I kind of want to see the Hurt Business or Her Syndicate do something more than, I guess a lot of times AEW does a thing where someone comes back into rotation and then immediately gets a shot and loses and then falls into fucking the abyss. So I don't know. I don't want that to happen with the Her Syndicate. So I would prefer it to be Jet Speed, because at least if they lose, it can add to whatever story they're going to tell between Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey. So it's not like a waste of the Her Syndicate, which I think that it would be.
Yeah.
Someone said the
so
Rascals.
they already lost. They just lost to
They just on Collision, right?
FTR. Yeah, they just lost to FTR. So that's why I didn't even think about them. I think they might be more suited for the trios division, but we'll get into that as well. But you mentioned Kevin Knight. We might as well talk about that match next, because it's the next match up. The Casino Gauntlet for the vacant team. The start of the matchup had Tommaso Ciampa and Rush starting off at 1-2 in the matchup here. They came out, they started chopping the hell out of one another to start things off, until Rush basically levels Ciampa with a big forearm, and his chest starts bleeding as they opt to pose and take their time for a bit. This allows Ciampa to explode out of the corner, and he hits a big running knee. Coming in at number 3 in the Casino Gauntlet was Bandito, the ROH World Champion, who caught Rush with a pump kick and then a somersault suicida on to Ciampa outside. We get a corner cannonball to Rush and barking for his partner Brody King, as Bandito hits a big frog splash and gets a near fall. He looks for the 21 plus, but Rush blindside Bandito and smashed him repeatedly into the railing. Coming in at number 4 was Speedball Mike Bailey, who took out Rush on the outside and then hits a missile drop kick on Ciampa back inside. We get a series of kicks and a running shooting star press, gets a 2 count. Then number 5 was El Clone of the Don Callis family. He fires off a thrust kick on Rush on the stage and then hits a Matrix Pele on Ciampa. Then we get the PK to Bailey and a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker to Bandito. Next out was Pac, who came from the crowd. He spikes Clone when he comes in with a bounce back German suplex. Bailey gets a wild overhead belly to belly into the corner. Quickly up to the top rope, we get Pac, who hits a massive corkscrew dive onto a pile on the outside before staring down with Bailey back inside. Bandito joins in, and we get a 3-way face-off with lightning fast, quick exchanges from all 3 men before Pac takes a double super kick from the baby faces. But he's getting back up because Daniel Garcia comes in at number 7. He joins Pac as the Death Riders start hitting the locomotion on a Clone in the corner. Then we get Anthony Bowens in at number 8, who ran wild. He drops Bandito with a Fame-Master and then hits a reverse torture rack slam on Bailey. Then we get another dragon screw to Bailey, and then that leaves Pac in the ring with Bowens, and they start going at it. Bowens drops him with a spinning DDT in the corner and gets a 2 count. Out at number 9 is Kevin the Jet Knight, who quickly leapfrogs over Roosh on the ramp and then takes out Ciampa with a flying lariat. Then we get Bailey flew in and wiped out Roosh with a triangle moonsault as Jet Speed squared off with the Death Riders in the ring after they took out everybody on the floor. We get the 2 teams in the middle of the ring start brawling with one another as Bailey and Knight get the better of both men. They basically hit slingshot dives on opposite sides of the ring and then both lock eyes opposite sides as they teased they were about to go at it, but Garcia put a stop to that. Roosh returned and delivered the bull's horns to Bowens and almost gets a near fall, but Clone flew in with a dive to Roosh, but Ciampa hits him with Project Ciampa for a 2 count. Bandito, though, quickly when basically as Ciampa's getting the near fall on the Project Ciampa, Bandito comes in flying with a 21 plex out of the near fall, and he gets a near fall of his own until they break up the cover. Out at number 10 was Willa Yuta. He laid out Bowens with the dive. Death Riders were swarming Bailey as a pow form. Clone managed to hit a Spanish fly from the apron in midair on a diving Bandito. Then we get Ciampa, who brought Knight up and superplexed him onto the pile on the outside and wiped everyone out with that one. Then Pac avoided all of that. He puts Bailey into place and he hits him with the Black Arrow in the ring, but he only gets a 2 count as Ciampa flew in with a running knee strike. You get Yuta, who smashed Ciampa into the railing on the outside as Garcia sank in the Dragon Tamer on Bailey. Bailey tries to go to the rope, but he wrenches back on the Dragon Tamer, which puts him right in position for Kevin the Jet Knight to fly in with the UFO splash on both Garcia and Bailey, and then he pins Garcia, gets the 1-2-3 to become the new TNT champion. This was a great match. The Casino Gauntlet always delivers, but this one was a great showcase for the mid-card scene of AEW. They have so many great workers up and down this card, so I like the spotlight being on kind of like lesser guys that are not in the main event, that have got teases in the main event, but not necessarily there right now, and really showing that the TNT title can be one of the best divisions in AEW. And such a great choice with having Kevin Knight win this one. Kevin Knight deserves it after coming up so short against MJF for the AEW World Championship and Kazuchika Okada for the AEW International Championship, losing the trios titles for a second time on Collision this week, and now this night winning the TNT Championship, his first singles title, not just in AEW, his first singles title ever in his career on the Indies, New Japan Pro Wrestling. They never even really gave him a shot at the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, which should be a crime against Gato, which has many crimes against him. But Kevin the Jet Knight finally winning a singles title in his professional wrestling career, and well deserved for someone who has been on the rise, one of the most improved performers in AEW of 2026, and he wins gold here. And this was one of the better Casino Gauntlets, probably the best since All In London 2024. Like, it didn't have all the surprises that one had, but such a great match with fast-paced action, whole bunch of great performers getting the show out in this one. I give it 4.25 stars, and Kevin Knight will be in action on AEW Dynamite Spring Breakthrough this Wednesday as he defends the TNT Championship against who I presume was the next man out in the Casino Gauntlet, Claudio Castagnoli, since all the rest of his Death Riders were in this matchup. I'm going to assume that the story is he was going to be next out in the Casino Gauntlet before Jet got the win here. So, J News, we'll start with you. You've been a fan of Kevin Knight for so long. Going to give you the floor. What did you think about the Casino Gauntlet, and what do you think about Jet getting the win here?
Man, it's been quite the road, man. Indies, New Japan, Mexico, AEW, wherever he's at, I'll quote him. He's just too fly. And at the end of the day, I said to myself going into this match, no matter who wins, we're up. It didn't matter who won this match because whoever was going to be in this match were going to be guys who needed to take the next step in their careers in AEW anyways. I thought they would go with the safe bet with giving the belt back to Ciampa, but they didn't do that. And they went with Kev, and I love that. For him, I love that for the company. I feel like there was one of our reviews or previews that we've done in the last calendar year, SP3, where somebody in the chat mentioned they need to do the Kyle Fletcher run with Kevin Knight. And if this is the beginning of it, I'm all for it. The dude's got, swag. He's got the in-ring ability. He's got the bunnies that nobody else in the goddamn world's got at the end of the day. And he's a good dude at the end of the day, man. Pleasure meeting him the few times I've had to get to meet him and all that jazz. And yeah, man. About the match though, I wasn't expecting much because the last couple of casino gauntlet matches haven't been great, but this one was paced so well. They started it out perfectly. Roosh and Ciampa. Give me that forever and a day. I've been a proponent of Roosh forever. I know the man's got an attitude problem, but he's trying to fix it. He's working on it, folks. He's working on it. Okay. He's working on it. Ciampa's been spectacular since he's gone to AEW, man. He doesn't know how to have a bad match. Roosh's energy, the bravado, the charisma that he walks to the ring with. We know he's supposed to be the rudo, the bad guy, but like the fans get behind him. No, it doesn't even matter. He pumps his fist and they know to chant Roosh. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's always cool to see him. The Death Riders part of this match was interesting to me, right? Because it's like, okay, you had Pac be the first one out, and then you had Danny come out. And I was like, ooh, I don't know about this. But within the match, within the structure of the match and everybody who was involved, Danny did well, right? Then we had Utes. Wheeler Yuta came out, and I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Where's Claudio? In my head, I was like, where's Claudio? But Wheeler served his purpose. Shouts to Mike Bailey. Everybody involved in this match, I think did a terrific job. And now Kevin has a slew of opponents that he can go on one-on-one with. To your point, SP3, I think if commentary didn't say it or AEW hasn't said it, they'll say that Claudio was supposed to be the next man up during commentary on Dynamite, and they'll have that match. Kevin will have his defense there, and then he can go on a string of defenses just against the dudes who are in this match, in this gauntlet match. And shout out to Bandito, man. Shout out to Bandito, because Bandito's been the man, and he's still ROH champion, even though he hasn't defended the belt in a long period of time. And
he hasn't defended it all year. What are we doing?
And the 21 Plex, I'm with Mr. Bonda. The 21 Plex from the ground should be the finisher from now on. From now on, that should be his finisher, bro. Because he did that with Andrade and their one-on-one, and then doing it here versus Ciampa. I was like, yeah, that's got to be it from now on. So that's my take.
It was that, and I think it was, I just want to say Hechisero that fell to the rope like he was going to take a 619 instead of like just bending over and waiting. I think guys are finally figuring out how to ways. I'm so glad because I hate moves like that, man. I love Bandito so much. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, but fuck me if that 21 Plex wasn't the worst thing. Where some people would really just sit there like you couldn't think of nothing. But finally,
he can't sell before he comes to hit you.
Like I said, even if you can't get off the floor, like I guess not everybody can get all the way off the floor like Ciampa or Andrade. Then sell it off the ropes like Hechisero, so you come off one knee onto 2 feet. Well, it's fine though. They're fucking getting it, so that's cool. But like they said, you called it like a great showcase of the mid card, and that's exactly what it was. It's just like showing how deep AEW's roster goes. Like, oh, and these are the guys who couldn't get on the show. Like, just like, oh shit, I think commentary, they didn't say Claudio was next, but they mentioned something like, oh, these guys better get this match over with before Claudio gets out here or something like that. So I guess they are doing the thing where Claudio was the next guy up. So that I thought it, since this next show was supposed to, I guess, be the beginning of the build to Double or Nothing, I thought putting Kevin Knight with the Death Riders basically was interesting. I was like, I wonder if that's something that they're following or if that's just gonna be like a one Claudio random loss, which doesn't make any sense really in the grand scheme of things. So I suspect Kevin Knight's gonna be dealing with them for a little while. But yeah, no, that was awesome. I didn't see Kevin Knight winning. I kind of figured it wouldn't be Ciampa. I know a lot of people thought it would be Ciampa. I was like, I don't know, he's getting a lot of shine headed into this. It seems pretty obvious for him to just take the title back, and he's kind of taking a step backwards because he already did it. So the Kevin Knight thing was a big surprise, and he kind of deserves it. Yeah, man, him and Mike Bailey came in here, and I mean Kevin Knight particularly made the choice to come here over WWE, and Tony Khan likes that shit. Loyalty, I like it. That usually gets rewarded. They wanted that man doing drills in the PC. His name was gonna be fucking Deontay Jones or some chat GPT shit. You know, he would have been on year 2 right now. People talking about how he's gonna be great. He'll be great against fucking Tony D'Angelo or whatever. This guy,
he would have been getting the Javad Evans treatment of big matches but never win one.
Rare, not even. He would have got that next year or something like that, and Mark Henry would have said it's fine because it could take 15 years before he gets it. So I'm so happy to see him holding up singles gold. I didn't think it was his first singles title ever. What the fuck? That's insane.
Yeah, New Japan was sleeping. They were sleeping at the wheel.
Yeah, I guess, man, that's fucking nuts. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's next. I imagine there's a Mike Bailey thing that's gonna happen. He did kind of get crushed under that frog splash at the end there. I was like, damn, he almost got it worse than Garcia. He's like under that shit, like bent backwards. So
and he did not look happy in the post match. So yeah,
it would be interesting if they turned Mike Bailey instead of Kevin Knight, because I didn't see it. Like, they already teased Swerve telling him, you got to go for you. So I was for sure that it was going to be Kevin Knight. But if it do something with Mike Bailey, that'd be cool. I mean, we all know Mike Bailey's a great babyface. He's like white meat. Like, he's great at it. I wonder what that would be like if he decided that he was jealous or something like that.
Yeah. Wendy, what did you think about the Casino Gauntlet?
Oh, I enjoyed it a lot. Am I to say this was like the first battle royal that was like there was no surprises at all?
No, I think they did one at Full Gear to determine the first national champion. That didn't. I don't think that one had any surprises
either. Yeah,
no surprises at all. Okay. So like honestly, my first thought was like, oh wow, there's no surprises. Oh wow, that's different. To start it off, you had Roosh. Like Jay New says, I want to see that face off again. I want to see them like duke it out because like they're great wrestlers. And I love the fact that they showed out these different wrestlers that if you don't know who they are after watching this, you know who they are now. You want to know about them. You want to know about, oh, who's Roosh? Who's Ciampa? Like, oh, who's Bandito? Who's Anthony Bowens? Like, what are they about? Like, oh, I want to know about them. I want to see their matches. Like, and I love that they showcase everyone and their styles. I'm happy that Kevin Knight won. I know, like, I'm happy that he won. The fact this is his first ever title, like singles title, I was like, wow, that's an accomplishment. That's a real accomplishment, and I'm very happy for him. And I can't wait to see more. And where is he gonna take that title? Like to new heights and stuff. I will say, Cal Fletcher, hope you get better. Shout outs to you. We want the Protostar to come back. He's another great. But I'm happy Kevin Knight won. I want to see, you know, this whole face off between like Knight and Bailey. Like I would see something's cooking over here. I want to see, you know, what's going to happen with these two. You know, I know I had asked this question to Josh, and I had asked him, and he had said that, you know, he who did he pick? And he said like he was happy to see Kevin Knight. He didn't think Kevin Knight would win. He kind of, you know, he said it would have been nice to see Bailey too, because either one of them could have won. Bailey could have won the title as well. But it's really good to see Kevin Knight, and I that theory of what if they turn Bailey heel is very interesting. So I'm very intrigued about what's gonna happen. But yeah, I really enjoyed the show. The match, sorry.
Yeah, they can go a couple of different directions. Like Jay News said, they have teased Kevin Knight potentially going heel due to the whole teases that he's had with like Swerve Strickland in the past, and now Swerve can kind of look at him and be like, "See, you listen to what I said. You didn't let your tag team partner get in the way of you winning that championship," and maybe that can facilitate him turning heel, because he can always turn heel as the TNT champion. So there's a couple of different directions that they can go there. Like that can be the Double or Nothing TNT title match. Instead of them going after like the tag team titles, you could do Kevin Knight versus Speedball Mike Bailey at the next pay-per-view.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Knight does turn heel and he teams with Swerve, and like Swerve is like behind him, like as a, you know how you have Prince Nana as like his manager and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Swerve becomes like his, you know, his mentor and stuff. If he does turn heel, I could see that happen.
The embassy is slowly coming back together.
Yeah, Kevin Knight, Isaiah Cassidy, since he's without his tag team partner. You got a couple of people. You could build this embassy out. Maybe that's why Swerve is staying in the shadows for now.
Yeah. That seems to be the case. But yeah, man, fun match nonetheless. Shouts to Kevin Knight, and it's gonna be interesting. The intrigue is up right now with AEW. The intrigue is up.
Yeah, and this was also a great matchup because it was so unpredictable who was going to win this one. I kind of was with Josh when I said I thought Speedball was going to win because it's in Canada. So I was like, another Canadian could win in this matchup. But I also said, I was like, I think it's Kevin Knight. I could be Kevin Knight as well, because I already knew the spoiler that they lost on Collision, the Trios championships. I was like, there's only one reason Tony Khan took the Trios titles off of them, is that one of these guys is winning the TNT title on Sunday. So I was happy it was Jet. We got a couple of people who agree with our theory, saying that Swerve plotting behind the scenes, and King Davion says Swerve got to be on Dynamite this Wednesday, right? Maybe he rekindles his whole rivalry with Kenny Omega. Maybe that is another matchup to do at Double or Nothing. If they're gonna go in the direction of Darby winning the world title, you could run back Omega and Swerve in New York City. So that would be a lot of fun as well.
I like to see him disappear like that after a loss. Honestly, him just hanging around TV or beating random guys until they have something else to do is such a waste. I'm glad to see this like this, because when he shows back up, that impact is going to be wild.
Yeah, I agree. Then we got here the AEW Women's World Championship was up. Well, before we get into that, they do have like news online that AEW and NFL are teasing some type of collaboration that's starting on Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. I don't know what that means, because NFL has worked with WWE before with the title belt. So I mean, Tony Khan has a bigger kind of relationship with the NFL, being one of the owners. So should be interesting to see what's going on there.
Yeah, I remember
the masks.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. They got the mask going. So I think it's a merch deal, if anything, or whatever. So but it puts more eyes on the product.
The tease has it's like a faded out piece of merchandise in the background where you can see the stitching of NFL and AEW. So it kind of looked like the back of a fitted hat, which I guess I don't know how AEW NFL would work that way. I guess put fucking Swerve logo next to Sid logo, shit like that.
If you guys have been paying attention to the Trons, a lot of the acts now have their own logos coming up on the Trons. The girls for Divine Dominion had one. Will had one from what I can recall last night. So I feel like they might be the good shout there, John. They might be making some fitteds. And at the end of the day, if they do that and they sell the merch at NFL stadiums, it could just be visibility for AEW at the end of the day. So I don't think that's a bad look.
Well, as long as they ain't no XFL, another XFL.
Oh well, no, that's definitely not going to be it. But we go backstage before the AEW Women's World Championship matchup, and we see Alex Windsor recovering from her matchup with an ice pack on her head, and then she's having a drink, and she says that it's Jamie Hayter's turn. Hayter chugs the beer and then ties up her little bow around her neck as she's getting ready to challenge Thekla for the AEW Women's World Championship here, a rematch from Wrestle Dream 2025. You get Hayter, who steamrolled Thekla right at the opening bell with a big boot and punches and bunches. We get Thekla answered with a spear early on in the matchup, and then got a rolling arm lock and choke at the same time. Hayter scrambled for the ropes, and the fight goes outside, where both trade 10-corner punches against the guardrail. You get Hayter, who hits a body block and then sent Thekla right back inside. Hayter then brought Thekla up the ramp with a suplex as she carried her up. She kept looking for the suplex, but Thekla kept blocking. Eventually, Thekla was able to swing into a swinging DDT, laying out the challenger. Hayter tumbled down the ramp as Thekla went up top and lands a crossbody off the top to the floor. Thekla then takes her time, picking Hayter apart inside the ring as she mocks the crowd, keeping Hayter grounded. Whenever Hayter started fighting back, Thekla would start hitting her with right hands and crumbling Hayter. She then locked on a Black Widow submission until Hayter was able to power her way to the ropes. Thekla got a running start and waffled Hayter right in the face with a big boot. This was so hard hitting throughout this matchup. You get Hayter, who shows off her toughness as she just eats that right hand and then responds with a snap snooplex right onto the apron. We get both ladies are able to make it back into the ring at the count of 9. Hayter then lands a home run shot headbutt and then a high boot. Drop kick off the out of the corner, connects, and then she hits a big time Liger bomb where Thekla landed high on the back of her neck. Thekla then floated over a suplex into a roll up with a handful of tights for 2. Thekla then did her spider pose to avoid a clothesline. She goes for the spear, but Hayter is able to catch her and lands a huge tombstone power driver and gets a near fall. They fight up on the top rope. A dazed Thekla tries to fight off Hayter. She does her spider superplex and then a double stomp to the back. She misses a curb stomp, so she clobbers Hayter with a buzzsaw kick. Danielson brings up the lackadaisical cover by the champion as Hayter kicks out at 2. Hayter then hits the hate breaker. She goes for the Haterade, but Thekla is able to counter it. She rakes the eyes as Hayter picks her up into a fireman's carry, and then she goes for the Okada roll, but she's so close to the rope, she grabs the bottom rope with the referee not seeing it as Thekla steals the victory here, getting the 1-2-3 to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. This was the right kind of intensity. It was hard hitting, physical throughout. These two ladies just beat the hell out of each other. You had Hayter ragdolling Thekla at times. You had Thekla hitting these hard strikes, stiffen Hayter throughout the matchup. Hayter had bruising all over her face by the end of the matchup, but the crowd wasn't as into it in the early going. They got more into it as they started beating the hell out of each other throughout the matchup. So by the end, they did have the crowd, but this is another instinct of the AEW women's division not being treated well in the buildup and not having a whole lot of story. Thus, the crowd does not care as much as they should. This needs to change. And I'm going to keep stretching this every time we talk about one of these pay-per-views, that this happens so often because Tony Khan has taught the crowd not to care as much about about the women's matches as much as they do about the men's matches. It starts with him. Once he starts caring and showing more effort to the women, the crowd response will be there. But these two two women showed out here, and I thought it was a really good matchup. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. Post-match, you had Alex Windsor hit the ring and plead with the referee, Stefan, that Thekla had their hand on the ropes, but Julia Hart and Sky Blue was out there to celebrate with the champ. Wendy, we'll start with you. What did you think about Thekla and Jamie Hayter here?
Dang. If we talk about, like, if I said like the pre-show, like Marina and Alex, they were hard hitting. Now this was hard hitting. Like, they were beating the crap out of each other. I know it started off a little slow in the beginning, and like it kind of looked like Jamie wasn't really hitting her in the beginning. I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, it started off slow, and like the fans, like they weren't really like into it as much. But then once they started, as you said, once they started like going at each other, that's when like the fans started like really really into the match. I really like it. These two women, like they are. I love Tekla's character. And I love Hayter, like, as a wrestler. Like, she's great. They're both great. They're both amazing. As you said, I kind of wish Tony can put a little bit more care into the women's matches, especially with the pay-per-views, like the women's titles. Like, just put a little bit more care. And if you could put that much effort with the men's, you can do the same for the women's.
Yeah,
I feel like if you can match that same energy with the men's to the women's, like I feel like it's gonna be up there. But I give it, let's see if 3.5. 3.5.
News. What did you think about Thekla and Hayter here?
You know, I mentioned this during the preview, and you said it when you were going through the description of the match, and your thoughts as well, SP3, about how the build was towards this match. There was barely any, and for what it was just Thekla doing the majority of the talking, which she's great at. At the end of the day, don't get it twisted, but there wasn't really much of Jamie in this build towards this match. Now, with that being said, I thought the match did exactly what it was supposed to do. Was it a foregone conclusion that Thekla was going to win this match? Sure. But at the end of the day, we still want to see Jamie Hayter beat people up, and she beat the piss out of Thekla in this match. So I was glad to see that happen. The way that they formatted the match at first, to what Wendy was saying, like it seemed a little off. Like maybe the first minute or two, it's like they weren't really hitting each other, and then I feel like they both said fuck it and threw everything out the window and then just went for it, and that it turned the match around at the end of the day. So I wanted to give the girls a lot of credit here for turning things around in this match and making it a good women's match, and making sure that the women overall on the pay-per-view, be it 0 Hour and the main card, had good showings. And Jamie Hayter, I'm sure she'll be a future AEW Women's Champion again. Where Thekla goes from here is going to be interesting. I know a lot of folks feel like, Mercedes' return is imminent, and she'll be going for the AEW Women's Champion chip somewhere down the road. But to Wendy's point, if they can do what they've done for the men in the AEW men's world title, they can do the same thing for the women at the end of the day. And being that they have a heel champion currently, someone that the fans and the other women in the roster despise, it works to have a lot of the women in that title picture. Jamie Hayter just had a recent interview with, I think it was Body Slam, or I forget who. Let me not misquote. But she's saying now that Tony's going to be gone for a while, Tony Storm that is, that it's going to be an opportunity for the majority of the women's roster to raise their stock essentially and show out and do different things. So I think this is a spotlight of what the other women in the roster can do. And I thought it was a real hard hitting and tremendous match, and they both looked great in it. No one came out looking bad out of this match. So wanted to give them credit with that.
John?
Yeah, I thought the build to this was weird because they spent a lot of time setting up the Brawling Birds as this new tag team, and then I imagine this was because Tony Storm got injured and they just shifted Jamie Hayter
100% was.
and so it's like Jamie Hayter just hadn't had enough heat behind her. Like they were doing something entirely different, and they just expected us to accept her as a world title contender out of nowhere. So that the crowd just wasn't connected with that at all. Losing Tony is going to force them to push a big baby face after Thekla. It's going to take time, but they got no other choice. So I'm interested in seeing who it's going to be, because to me, it's very obvious that it should be Willow. He's standing right there. But I don't know. I don't know why he's so hesitant to really pull the trigger on Willow Nightingale. I think it's been Willow for a long time now. Like, I don't know why we have to get to a point where Tony Storm is missing, and now you're forced to build a new babyface. You should have a fucking assembly line of this shit going on. There should be one behind her. There should be one behind Willow that you have on your mind that's guaranteed. This is my big babyface next up. Like, I'm not sure why this is so hard. Maybe there's so many things going on in this man's life that he can't have. He doesn't want to have all these things piled up like that, or I guess the unpredictability of injuries makes him uncomfortable with feeling concrete on someone. But that's stupid. Willow has been consistently there for fucking 2 years almost. When did she have that match with Chris Statlander at All Out? Is that
2024? That was 2024.
Okay, 2 years almost.
It's arguable that she's been there for 3 years because she won the Owen Hart Cup in 2023.
Yeah.
And then she had those matches with Athena.
That's why, because I thought that was in the build to her being the next big babyface. It felt like everything was leading up to it. And then she had the match with Chris Statlander, and I was like, now is the time. Now is the time. And it's just been the time all this time. And it's still nothing. And I still don't think we missed a peak. I think tomorrow, if you decided to take this belt off Willow and push her in that direction for All Out or All In, people would be all the way behind Willow. I think you'd have a big-ass women's championship match at All In, and people would be invested, and they'd be screaming, and Willow's a great fucking wrestler, so like they would beat the shit out of each other in there. There's no reason in the world why Willow isn't in the world title scene. I love you, Willow.
And I disagree with Sajo here. He says the fans are to blame for not caring in the most part of the matchup. No, it's the toxic cycle that Tony Khan has put the fans on of he doesn't care that much about the women's division. Therefore, he doesn't put as much effort as he does to the main event men scene into the main event woman scene. And then it's like and then the fans don't respond to it. So then he feels justified. He's like, oh, well, I guess I was right. I guess you guys don't care about the women's division, so I shouldn't care about the women's division. But it's just a never-ending cycle. It's the same complaint over and over again, but we have to keep speaking up about it because it's the one glaring weakness. Like, this promotion could be a perfect wrestling promotion if he gave a fucking flying fuck about the women's division.
He's just gonna turn around and get rid of it. You want it to be perfect? Watch this. We're New Japan now. You can watch ROH. That's where the women get booked. No, it's interesting because on ROH it's the same guy, but the women get more opportunities to book better. You obviously have Athena on top, but it goes all the way down. You mentioned earlier, High End in My World are on there getting a reps in. Like, well, it's a great place. So I want it's like you said, he won't put focus on them because the audience won't react to them, but the audience will react to them because he won't put focus on them. So at some point in a low, it's going to take like some real planning. You got to wait for a low point or maybe a real high point. Maybe wait for one of the higher points of the year and just force one of those segments in there and understand that you're going to take a L. Like, okay, the audience is going to go down for this, but if I fucking build it, if I make this little burger as perfect as I can, it's gonna taste good in the end. it's gonna take some sacrifice, I guess. How do you explain that to TV executives? Trust me, there are less people that are gonna watch your ads, but give it time. I guess you just kind of got to do it and hope for the best.
Exactly. You gotta actually take the time to build upon it, to focus on it, to flesh out these characters, to give them some type of storyline outside of it. And Oh Nutty, this is a good thought, but you then have to realize he's saying, would y'all be okay with an extra 30 minutes of Dynamite if it meant another women's match a week? We literally just had an extra 30 minutes of Dynamite, and we still only had an 11-minute women's matchup on that fucking show. He don't got no time. He don't got no time. It has nothing to do with the time of the show. It has to do with Tony Khan and not really being the biggest fan of women's wrestling. He grew up in a time. He grew up on ECW. He grew up on ECW, which used the women as eye candy. They never had the women wrestling like that. He wasn't watching Miami to Toyota in Japan and Joshi wrestling like that. He was watching New Japan and Ring of Honor, which both of them didn't have really women's divisions at all. So this is who he is. This is how he was brought up. Thus, he doesn't have the respect and love for the women's wrestling like most of us do.
Again, I don't know, because I said the guy books another show where it's clear that he knows what to do with them. So, like, I don't know if that's. I refuse to believe actually that it's that simple. Especially now where like you've successfully done things with Tony Storm, with Mercedes Moné, who came in built already and made. Again, it just comes down to the numbers and trusting that if you can take a hit here, it will benefit later on. I'm pretty damn sure it's a numbers thing, because if it's not Tony Storm and if it's not Mercedes, you change the channel. You do. You people do. That's
because he does not invest in any of these people. It's a never-ending cycle.
That's exactly what I'm saying. He's just gonna have to take the L for, I don't know, 6 weeks or something and see what happens. Just see what happens. I think it'll work. I think it will work. I think you'll get people invested in a hot Willow Nightingale Thekla feud throughout the summer.
Yeah.
Don't be a pussy.
And that's the key thing with Jordan saying here. It's not even a terrible women's event. It's not the same excuse it was back in 2019, 2020 when they didn't have a lot of women's talent. They have the women's talent. He just doesn't give them the time to get over.
So I'm not going to disagree with anything that's been said about Tony Khan and his booking of the women, but I also want to put it on some of the ladies as well, right? Because right now, if you're paying close enough attention to the AEW product and the women who are on top, the ones who stand out, and the rest of them kind of middle around, right? Thekla stands out at the end of the day. Willow stands out as a babyface, but who's the next babyface after Willow Nightingale? Can you name a bigger?
Queen Amanat.
Now Queen needs time, right? Queen needs time, but Queen's not on Willow's level. Queen's not even on Stat's level at the end of the day, and everybody's had their issues with Stat. With everything that's gone on in the last couple of years. So yes, time is necessary. I agree with that, but you got to put some of this on the ladies as well, because if people aren't latching on to them, there's something about them that they're not latching on to, right? So it's a layered process here, right? I'm not saying people need to be the ladies need to be these crazy ass characters, but they need to pop. And Thekla came in less than a year ago. She's popped, right? People have had their up and downs with Stat. People have been clamoring for freaking Britt Baker, but it's like, do you want Britt Baker backstage? Do you want Britt Baker on your TV screen? How does Britt work? The last time we saw Britt, she had one of the most horrible wrestling matches we've ever seen in our freaking lifetimes. So it's like, what do we really want here, right? The time is necessary, but the girls need to step up as well, is what I'm saying. So outside of Willow, if you're going to give Aminata time, cool. I want to see it, but they got to pop. And if they don't pop, they got to keep on trucking them in on TV to see which one hits. Because right now, the time is necessary.
You don't even do that. That's what I'm saying. Right. It starts with him. He don't do that. He don't do that.
You know what? I'm going to say it. It's just I'm sorry, all y'all in the locker room, everybody back there, get fucking ready, because just bring Britt Baker back. Just bring back Britt Baker. Fuck it. Bring her back full scale, like 2021 Britt. I don't even care if she's pissing you off backstage. As a matter of fact, good. I hope that she does. I hope that she lights a fire under your ass, and you all want to take her TV time from her because she's getting too many opportunities and I'm not. So I hope that she does come back.
She gets a reaction. She gets a reaction, and she doesn't have to be in wrestling matches. Like, that's why I'm a big proponent of Britt Baker coming back, because she still is one of the best characters that the women's division ever had in this company.
I agree.
I think she would cause a massive impact if she came back and smacked one of these babyface girls on the top of the head and just declared herself back. Like, people would react to that. I think outsiders would love it. First, they don't watch this fucking show. They just see the headline and they're like, "Oh my God, Britt Baker's back," and they'll check it out. I think Britt Baker is exactly what this division needs right now. Actually, you've got a massive hole in this. Just star power wise, babyface or heel. There's just a big hole in there, and she fits that piece. She does.
She does. I agree. We got here freaking Annika saying that Athena books ROH. I wouldn't be surprised. Did
you see ROH TV last Thursday? That was an Athena maiden show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's got to be doing something else down there. Like, it seems like she's very happy. I know people are like, "Well, bring her to her main roster," and she's like, leave me with my belt, bro. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you saying?
It's like I'm trying to pass Bruno.
He's like, I'm good over here. Like, don't bring me in y'all business.
Yeah.
I'm good here. It's like, I'm good.
Tony's looking for something else over there. I'm not interested. And oh Nutty, he's saying, would y'all be cool with longer Dynamite if it was guaranteed more women's matches on Dynamite? Not what he's done so far. What I'm telling you in response to this is a longer Dynamite does not guarantee that there's going to be more women's matches. He just has more time to feature more men on the show. It does not. It's a false. You're having a false equivalency problem with this question in general. Longer Dynamite does not mean more women's matches. It means more men's matches. That's how Tony Khan has booked for the last 7 years. Let's just accept who he is right now.
I think it's just fear. This man has fear. Like, he's not willing to take. It's like he has to take like the big risk. If like you want, like, people were like, fans are saying like they want the women's division to get better. And if you're not willing, if you're not showing that you care and you're not putting the efforts, like, what are you scared of? Just take the big risk. You have done so countless times. You know, and it's not just the women in like AEW, like you guys said, the women's division right now is not bad. Not only do you have women in AEW, you also have the women in Ring of Honor. You also have the Japanese women's wrestlers like Riho. You have Emi Sakura. You have Hikaru Shida. Like, you have all these great wrestlers. Like it's not bad. It's not a bad division. Like, take that big risk. That's all we're saying, Tony Khan. Just take the big risk.
But we got a couple more matches to get into, including one of the most anticipated matches on this card was for the AEW Continental Championship. Will Ospreay challenging the champion, Jon Moxley. This was Will Ospreay out for revenge after his double fusion neck surgery, and Moxley taking him out at last year's Forbidden Door. As Ospreay made his entrance, Renee Paquette says that Ospreay is making his goal to get retribution, an eye for an eye, a neck for a neck, no Death Riders, no United Empire. Excalibur brings up Ospreay stopping briefly during his entrance and staring at Paquette, brings up they rarely mention that Paquette and Moxley are married and are parents. They said maybe it was Ospreay thinking about what he's going to do to her husband. So the matchup starts, and immediately Will Ospreay says, "We are going breakneck in the storytelling and in the pacing of this matchup. He immediately hits Moxley with a hidden blade, the first of the matchup. The crowd freaking explodes on that one. Ospreay just stands there saying that he's got plenty of time, 19 minutes 30 seconds to be exact, as he hits another hidden blade, busting Moxley's mouth open and sending him outside to the floor. He hits a draping neck breaker off the apron. Then he comes back inside and he hits the pip cheerio. It's all Ospreay at this point. Moxley scrambled for a triangle choke, but Ospreay powered out of it and he hits a big power bomb. Ospreay then drove Moxley's face into the ring steps at ringside as he sets it up, looking to break his neck, yelling that Moxley took 6 months of his life away from him. He tries to stomp down on his neck against the steel steps, but Moxley is able to dodge the kick, and he delivers the paradigm shift right on the floor, going after the broken neck. Danielson on commentary brought up both men contributing to the end of his career, talking about Ospreay did it by accident, while Moxley did it on purpose. We get a violent sleeper suplex back inside the ring as a series of clotheslines leads to Moxley targeting the neck. We get Ospreay, who manages a desperation handspring corkscrew kick, but he's selling the effects onto the neck as he hits another pip cheerio. He went up top for a big dive to the outside, but Moxley pulled him to the apron where Ospreay decked him with a clothesline back inside. Ospreay then tried a third springboard clothesline, but this time Moxley lands a huge forearm in midair, wiping out Ospreay. We get a chop battle that ensues as Ospreay absorbed another lariat. He hits a standing Spanish fly for 2 as Moxley scrambled and sank in a bulldog choke as we get the 10-minute call. We get a God style power driver. He spikes Ospreay for a near fall. He took Ospreay to the corner. He tries to look for an avalanche sleeper suplex, but Ospreay lands on his feet. Moxley ducks another hidden blade for another sleeper suplex, tried a lariat, which Ospreay floated over and hits a Liger bomb and gets a 2 count. He was unable to get the cover immediately because of the injured neck. Ospreay tried another Os cutter, but Moxley reverses that and hits the paradigm shift, but the momentum bounces Ospreay up and he hits a desperation hidden blade, the third of the matchup, as both men reset. Excellent exchange right there. We get another slugfest between the two men until Ospreay hits a thrust kick flush. The referee, Paul Turner, had to pull Ospreay off of Moxley in the corner as he was laying in strikes. Ospreay shoved down the referee. He picks him up, but that leads to Moxley taking advantage. He turns Ospreay inside out with a lariat. Moxley tries for a jackknife pin, but Ospreay rolls through and gets a Styles Clash and gets a near fall. We get a bulldog choke from Ospreay this time as Moxley broke free in the corner, but he collapsed to his knees. Ospreay threw another hidden blade, but he clutched at his left arm due to the damage done to his neck. He's losing the range of motion in his arm. Ospreay wanted the Tiger Driver, but he lost the strength in his arm again to hold the grip. Moxley rolled outside, luring Ospreay in. Ospreay looked for the Tiger Driver on top of the steel steps, but Moxley's able to rake at the eyes and hits this insane jumping power driver on the steel steps. You get the referee and Doc Samson all rush to Ospreay's aid. Turner told him that he has to start counting him out. He gets to the count of 9, and somehow, some way, Ospreay breaks the count, but it leads to Moxley taking advantage. He hits a curve stomp, spiking Ospreay, then picks him up. He hits 2 paradigm shifts, but Ospreay is able to kick out somehow, some way. We get Moxley then deciding enough was enough. He picks up Ospreay. He drops him with not the paradigm shift, but the Death Rider this time. And finally, he gets the 1, 2, 3. And another surprise ending here as Moxley picks up the win. He defeats Will Ospreay. This was an outstanding encounter. The storytelling was off the charts with both men looking to go after the neck. You had Ospreay, who who was so hell-bent on revenge that Moxley was able to take advantage of that and use that against him. He was only out here for the win because, like he's been saying in the lead up to this matchup, it's not personal to him. It's just business. And the business that he does is winning when it counts the most. Big money Mox getting the victory here. Excalibur said Ospreay throwing so many hidden blades did so much damage to his own arm that he squandered his chance to beat Moxley and has no one to blame but himself. As Danielson agrees, he hopes Ospreay can move forward through this and wants the doctors to have him get an MRI. Ospreay is shown reaching at Moxley with his good arm as Moxley stood tall with the Continental Championship. Outstanding matchup. Like I said, one of the best of the night. These two guys just have amazing chemistry with one another. I remember their matchup back at Windy City Riot for New Japan back in 2022. This was just as good as this one, and the storytelling with the neck and the pacing of the matchup and just the story of Will trying to look for revenge, but that getting the most of him, and Ospreay and Moxley taking advantage of that. Just so smart, so brilliantly told by both men. 4 3/4 stars for me. John, what did you think about Moxley and Ospreay here?
I just want to address the discourse off the back, because it's the same thing. Every time Will Ospreay goes out there, he has a match that gets the crowd on their feet. He has the people at home on their feet. Everybody's watching it at home. You know it feels good. You know it was great. It's like objectively great to everyone that's watching live. And then the singular clips come out with like 30 seconds of a match, and then you get like you go to sleep, and then you wake up to 8 hours of outsider discourse. It's outsider discourse every fucking time. It's a bunch of people outside the gate looking inside. Why is everybody so happy? They shouldn't be enjoying themselves because I think that this sucks. Every fucking time it's the same exact conversation. It's not even I would just ignore it, but it's so fucking big that it overtakes the conversation of the match. Will Ospreay versus Jon Moxley went out there with a 20-minute time limit and gave the match that had the same emotions as a 40-minute epic, because both of them are fucking masters of their craft. And some fat, ugly Cheeto dust jelly roll loving motherfucker is standing there talking about Will Ospreay didn't lay down long enough for my liking. This is why I hate AEW. You fucking loser. Yeah, that spot where Will Ospreay gets his Oz Cutter reverse into a Death Rider, and in his final moments of energy uses it to hit a hidden blade, and then they both go down and they're both fucking dead, and you didn't like that. You're a loser. You deserve Pat McAfee in your main events, cutting promos and telling you how much you suck so that you can say how great it is. You deserve all of that. This match was fucking excellent. Those spots like that people were complaining about were fucking excellent. But I was going to give it 4.5 stars, but I'll give it 5 out of spite. That shit was awesome.
I respect that. I respect that so much. Wendy, what did you think about Ospreay and Moxley? I don't know if you can follow that rant though.
Yeah, how can I follow that?
Cheeto dust.
Wow.
Take a bath.
Oh my gosh. So I really enjoyed this match. Ospreay came in swinging. He came in, his battery was all the way up. And he was like, honestly, if he could actually, if he wanted to, he could actually kill a guy. Like, he could actually murder him. Like, he probably murdered him in that ring. Like, especially how he was going. But yeah, the back and forth, like I enjoyed it. There was close calls, and honestly, I was surprised that Moxie won. I thought Ospreay was gonna win, but to keep the story, I'm fine with Mox winning because it could continue. But yeah, I literally thought Mox really broke Ospreay's neck again. Like, especially with when he did that move on the steel,
power driver
the power,
on the steel
yes,
steps.
on the steel. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, you trying to murder this man? Like, you trying to give freaking Darby a run for his money? Like, who can, like, literally, like, you gonna give him a run for his money? But yeah, I really enjoy it. It's not the last of Ospreay. I mean, we gonna see more of this for sure. We're gonna see more. So I give it 4.75 stars.
Yeah. What about you, Jay News? What did you think about Moxley and Ospreay?
Shouts to John for the rant. Brother, this is why I stay offline. I'm chronically offline. The people out there in the world, as he said, outside the gates, are just annoying. People are gonna say, "But why are you gatekeeping this and why are you gatekeeping that?" And da. Because of people like y'all. And I'm not talking about people in our chat. I'm talking about the people out there with this garbage. Talking about this was a snooze fest. This isn't wrestling. It was like, man, if y'all motherfuckers don't take that shit over there somewhere. Listen, man. At the end of the day, what popped me most about this match is how it started. Will came out with the hidden blade and dropped Mox. I was not expecting that. I said to myself, oh, this is how we gonna start this party? Cool, no doubt. But that move within itself built the story of the match. And Excalibur went back to it. Brian went back to it. Tony went back to it. He should have just pinned him right then and there, but he went or tried to go for the kill and everything else in between and try to put a beating on John. You can't put a beating on Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley and Darby Allin are in tandem as being the cockroaches of professional wrestling. You can't kill him. You can't kill him. So at the end of the day, for me, it's like I was wondering how this match was going to get built, and they did it in such a way where I said to myself, wow, Jon Moxley is at the top of his game. For as much as I asked for Jon to take a break, right? It's matches like this that make it like, I get it. I get it. I understand. It's not like I don't understand who Jon Moxley is and what he stands for AEW. I get it. But Will Ospreay, man, Billy, brother, just stay healthy, man. That's all I'm asking for.
All I say, I've missed this man on pay-per-view, man. It reminded me how good he is on pay-per-view. This matchup here.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
He should stay away from Jon Moxley. That's what the fuck he should do. Yeah. Get away. You like your neck? Get away.
Oh,
and not for nothing though. That beginning, it was very giving me. Oh, what is that? What was that year? Don't want to bring up WWE, but I'm gonna bring it up. But that match, that 3-way, that it was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and John Cena. And once the bell rang, all of a sudden, Shawn just super kicked Triple H out of nowhere. It was giving like once the bell rang, it was like hidden blade, like right then and there.
Yeah,
it was like fast. Like he was just like, I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna just fucking break your neck.
Yeah,
there's a lot of matches that are supposed to have this kind of heat where they start off and they do fucking the regular tie up, a headlock, universal spot, and we're hopping over leapfrog. This is psychologically was perfect. I want him dead. I want him dead now. I don't want to wait till the bell rings. So that was awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yep.
But like they said at the beginning, he could have got the win in the early going, but he was so obsessed with getting revenge.
Yeah, he wanted
he wanted the violence, he wanted to beat him up, he wanted everything else in between, man. So that was his downfall, and that's the story that they told. And I appreciated the story that they told. I appreciate that Will is just as athletic as he was before he went in for neck fusion surgery. I appreciate the fact that Jon Moxley is still wrestling the physical style that he does, because it takes a toll on the body at the end of the day. And for Jon Moxley to still be the Continental Champion this far after the Continental Classic and him winning this and going through that arduous tournament and having the beefs that he's had, and not for nothing, him and Marina nowadays smiling after getting the piss beat out of both of them. It's like the Death Rider's ultimate goal is transpiring as we're watching AEW live. They wanted everybody to step up. They wanted people to get more physical and more violent and bring this new era of style of professional wrestling to the forefront. And they're getting it out of these guys and girls and stuff like that. And so it's like the Death Rider story is still weaving its tentacles into AEW all these years later, you know? So I thought that this match was fantastic. You know, shout out to both Mox and Will. This will continue, obviously. Will they go into, I think I saw a couple of folks in the chat saying that this might get one of those either a blood and guts or anarchy in the arena type matches, but I think they with the chaos in Canada thing, I think it might be enough to be quite honest. But they did
I think they're still gonna do Stadium Stampede at Double or Nothing. They're just gonna add the ladies and probably one, because it was a 4-on-4. You still have Yuta for the Death Riders. You can have Great O'Khan or someone else from United Empire come over, and you could do 6-on-6 with Alex Windsor and Marina Shafir involved.
Yeah, that's true. So you know that's
and it won't be Anarchy in the Arena. It'll be Stadium Stampede because it's in the stadium at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and luckily the stadium's not that big, so it doesn't have to go on for a long period of time. So, but yeah, it's more story to come. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see as to how Will eventually ends up in the title picture by Allin.
We shall see.
You think there'll be a possible? Oh, sorry.
No,
you think there'll be a possibility? There'll be like a death match between Will and Mox?
I think the next singles match will probably happen in the Owen between those two. Maybe the semifinals of the Owen. That's where Will beats Moxley. But we shall see. We shall see. There's still we got 4 months until All In, so there's a lot of time.
And he'll use the Tiger Driver 91 to beat Mox.
Yeah. Definitely. Big Man Dog says he's heard that they're doing a new gimmick match. So yeah, they could do something else. But yeah, I think we're gonna see United Empire and the Death Riders mix it up again at Double or Nothing in some form, some fashion. But then we got the Dogs, David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, and Clark Connors defending the AEW World Trios Championships against the Conglomeration. It was Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, who started off with a setup for basically a Conglomeration sitcom with Cassidy sleeping on the couch as Strong tries to wake him up, saying that he's almost here. Cassidy says, "Give me 5 more minutes," and Strong says he's gonna be here soon. And then they get the knock at the door, and it's none other than Kyle O'Reilly making his return in Vancouver, British Columbia, his hometown, as he says, "Did someone say conglomeration? Because I'm ready to conglomerate." We get the Conglomeration TV show theme as O'Reilly got a huge hometown pop. Then we get the freaking Dogs who come out and start wrecking the set. You get David Finlay who starts beating down the door with the shillelagh. And then freaking Gabe Kidd. Someone said he mocked peed on it. No, I saw the pee on the couch. This man pulled out his wang and started peeing on the fucking couch. I swear to you, there was piss on the fucking couch. This man is outrageous. That is outrageous conduct. You get early on, O'Reilly hits a flying leg kick. Then they hit. You get Cassidy and Strong who hit the Tamus demolition decapitation elbow. We get 2 of triple dive attempts were blocked. O'Reilly comes down on Kidd, and you see him holding his wrist and shoulder as Strong and Cassidy were sent onto the railing while Finlay put the boots to O'Reilly before he and Connors hit the full clip on O'Reilly on the floor. Cassidy tried slamming Finlay from the turnbuckle to turnbuckle, but it was going well until Connors flew in with the spear through the ropes, throwing Cassidy back inside. Finlay then slowly picked him apart and isolated him. At this point, you're noticing that it's just Finlay and Connors in this one. And commentary mentions that Gabe Kidd apparently is getting checked on by the doctors at ringside. We get Death by Roderick as Roddy comes in running wild on the heels. He gets Finlay saving his partner from End of Heartache. We told that Gabe was taken to the back at this point. Finlay and Connors then keep Strong grounded until Strong backdropped Finlay outside and drove Connors back first into his knee with the backbreaker. Finally, O'Reilly returns to the apron and he gets a loud pop when he gets the hot tag. He starts running wild for a bit. It finally breaks down where it's O'Reilly in the ring with Connors. You get Finlay who tries to attack O'Reilly from behind. He dodges a orange punch, but then he gets hit with the flying knee by Strong. Then you get Cassidy who hits Finlay on the outside at ringside with the orange punch, while O'Reilly has a heel hook on Connors in the ring, who frantically taps out to give the conglomeration the victory. So that means that the Dogs title reign as the AEW World Trios champions lasted only one day in basically how it was filmed, because it was filmed on Wednesday. So it was just a 4-day reign in actuality as the conglomeration pick up the victory. O'Reilly winning his first title in AEW since signing all the way back in 2022. He does it in his hometown of Vancouver, British Columbia upon his return to AEW. Him and Roddy are champions yet again together, as well as Orange Cassidy alongside him. This matchup was definitely hurt by the fact that Gabe Kidd suffered an injury. It was confirmed during the media scrum that Gabe suffered a dislocated shoulder. They're not sure how long he's going to be out, but he's going to be out indefinitely. And just the worst timing. This is like one of those WWE injuries. It's the worst timing for Gabe, because you got the Dogs who finally got a big win, winning the trios titles on Collision. This whole injury did not change the result. The conglomeration were apparently always going to win this matchup because it's O'Reilly's return, but the Dogs were getting momentum as a trio, and then Gabe gets injured here. He also has the whole storyline where he's starting a war on behalf of AEW against in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he's supposed to face Yota Tsuji for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. No word on if that's going to change due to this injury, so it sucks. He had a rant-filled rant on social media on painkillers, talking about the conglomeration is some bitches, and he wanted to get on the mic, but they wouldn't let him at the show. But we'll see what's going on with him. But this, once again, I'm going to say the same thing I said last month. Why does Tony Khan hate the Dogs? Like, this is my whole thing. Like, I understand O'Reilly comes back. I understand conglomeration getting the win, but the Dogs did not need to lose after just a couple of days. Like, it's really feeling like this is a thing of the Dogs wanted American money, so they wanted to come to AEW as a unit instead of AEW wanting the Dogs. That's how their booking has come off, where they got to eat shit for a little bit before they kind of earn their stripes when it comes to Tony Khan and how he's booking them. But I'm just disappointed in that because I'm a huge fan of the Dogs, but happy for O'Reilly here. The match itself, like I said, it was very much hurt by the injury, so I gave it 2 3/4 stars. John, what did you think?
Yeah, I love the Dogs. I mean, to be honest, with David Finlay in New Japan, I liked David Finlay. I think I like Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors a little more than Finlay. That was just he was just like getting into where they wanted him to be when he left. I thought he should have stayed. But so yeah, just like you said, they wanted to come to AEW. AEW was like, sure, we'll find a spot. You guys are cool. It could, like, I think if they were fucked, they would have got signed and disappeared. The fact that they are on TV as frequently as they are, even though they got kind of shoehorned in, it kind of says something to me, because Tony Khan will usually let you disappear until he finds a spot. Like the rotation will go until somebody falls off the wheel, and then you can come in. So just getting shoehorned on the television at all, I think, is a good thing for them, because there's no plans. I mean, clearly, I think there was no plans when they brought him in, and they're going to use him as they see fit. Kyle O'Reilly was the priority here for Tony Khan, and so they went with that. I think they'll be okay in the long run. I'm gonna be interested in seeing how David Finlay develops because, like I said, I thought he was finally getting to that place. Like in reality, he was supposed to be the big gaijin that replaced Jay White, who replaced Kenny Omega, who replaced AJ Styles. He was supposed to be in that lineage, but I don't think it ever turned out the way they wanted it to in New Japan. And I think, like I said, this Wrestle Kingdom that just passed, he finally had that aura about him. He finally felt like maybe they could go with him seriously in the main event scene, and then he decided to go to AEW. So it's definitely a step back as far as like if you were watching his development, you were seeing him finally get to the main event level. Now he's in the trios division and not even on top of it. Like that's jarring. But it is what it is. Brother wanted that paycheck. He wanted to be in America. He's gonna have to go a few steps down the ladder, unfortunately. I think he'll be fine, but I'm interested to see how it turns up.
Wendy, what do you think about this one?
I mean, it was cool. It's great to have O'Reilly back. I know his dad passed away. I think that's what it was. His dad passed away. Condolences to O'Reilly and his family. And I would say the entrance to the conglomeration, I thought it was so funny. It's like the sitcom show. Like we all know, like we all seen that show before. We all seen that sitcom before. I thought it was really funny. And when the dogs came and did what they did, I was like, wow. Like I don't think they would show that on TV. On a pay-per-view, yeah, but not on TV. But yeah, overall, the match was good. It's unfortunate that Gabe got injured, but and then the fact that they lost the titles like 4 days, like, and they had a 4-day reign. I'm like, damn. It's like, as Sid said, Tony doesn't like the War Dogs. Wonder why. But but honestly, like maybe they can like go back and maybe like I don't know, they could do something with Finley and Connors, and because hopefully they can do something. But I am happy, conglomeration for winning. But yeah, I'll give it 2 stars. It was a good match. It's just very unfortunate.
Yeah. J News.
So my first thought when the match started yesterday was there's got to be a clause in the Dogs contract that they have to be semi-main on a pay-per-view. This is 2 pay-per-views in a row when they're right before the main event.
They're the buffer match.
They're the buffer match. And I don't appreciate that spot for them. But I'll say this much. Shouts to the Madman. I hope he feels better soon. He did go on a profanity-laden rant, and he told a lot of people to go F off and stuff like that. So, he's still intact mentally, for all intents and purposes. The physicality of this match within itself, I thought was good. The wrestling was good. When Gabe got hurt, I thought that Finley and Clark Connors did a good job of saving face. The camera work was pretty good. They didn't concentrate on Gabe and stuff like that. And Finley and Clark did their thing. Good to see Kyle back. The other Kyle, as they like to call him in AEW. Good to see him back. OC was as surprised as I was when they won the titles during this match. But the Trios Championships can be, they're more or less like the New Japan Openweight 6-man tag team championships. They just change hands all the time or whatever. So that's the level of acceptance I'm at with that particular title. But I want to say this because I think it might be a good idea, and maybe Tony Khan sees this. Right now, you had Kevin Knight as your new TNT champion. The Dogs are no longer in the Trios division. Jack Perry needs an opponent. And Kevin Knight needs a good heel opponent for down the road that isn't somebody who's a Death Rider. So, hey, you have a David Finlay and you have a Clark Connors. who you can do stuff with at the end of the day. And I think they would be good opponents for both Jack Perry and Kevin Knight down the road, especially since Kevin Knight has a New Japan background. They can use that with David Finlay and definitely give us good matches there. And Clark Connors can just branch out on his own in that what is it? The
National Championship. I would say the other way around
National?
because Clark Connors went to the dojo with
with Kevin. Yeah, exactly.
So that makes more sense.
Yeah. And
then David Finlay could be the one to dethrone Jack Perry for the national champion.
Yeah. And you can flip it that way and whatnot. You have people you can use to have them as opponents for the younger guys who are singles champions right now. Especially
and it also should make the point. He debuted on March 4th. We're now nearly 2 months into his run in AEW. Still hasn't had a singles match. David Finlay.
Yeah, there you go.
I think Clark Connors will break out like hard if they start pushing him on his own. Clark Connors is gonna shoot to the moon. He's got something there that they didn't really tap into in New Japan. Like as soon as he showed up in AEW, he was like, "I'm free. I can be Clark Connors." So as soon as he starts getting like a focus push on TV, I think people are gonna be really surprised with him.
Yeah. I agree with that, man. And they have a good setup here. And I hopefully next pay-per-view we don't get David Finlay and Clark Connors in the semi-main because
I'm just hoping. I don't really care about the placement. I just want them to fucking win on a pay-per-view. That's all I actually.
I care about the placement, man. I don't
care about the placement. I just need a fucking win. I feel much better about these matches if they fucking won one of them.
Oh man,
frustrating. But finally, it's time for the main event. If you haven't already, drop a thumbs up. Share with your friends. Subscribe if you are new. You can send a super chat donation as we close things out here with MJF versus Kenny by God Omega for the AEW World Championship. The Devil versus the God of Pro Wrestling. Very thematic sensibility with the entrances for both men. We get a piano version of Omega's theme music as they give like the very cool sight show with the video wall before Omega makes his entrance to a huge ovation from this Vancouver crowd. MJF, meanwhile, he comes out and he is in full devil gear with people surrounding him as he emerges from hell, people bowing to him at the throne with his devil crown on as he makes his entrance to a good ovation from the crowd as well. Referee Bryce Rensburg in the early going after the intros for this matchup, he takes the Dynamite Diamond ring away from MJF and places it in his pocket. Omega in the early going, he goes for the One Ring Angel early on in this matchup, but MJF is able to roll through for two. We get MJF sidestepping a V trigger. He wanted a heat seeker, but Omega had it scouted and charged with a knee, but MJF hightailed it to the floor. Omega ramped up for the Terminator dive, but MJF took a walk and was forced to eat a baseball slide and then a slingshot crossbody. We get them fighting on the floor for a bit. Omega brings out a table and places it on top of MJF and hits a double foot stomp off an apron. The table was properly set up at ringside with a big kind of gash in between it because of the double stomp. MJF is put on it and Omega heads up top, but MJF rolls back into the ring. Omega uses that to hit a missile drop kick to the back of the head. Omega then trying to battle for a power bomb. MJF countered into a water wheel drop for a near fall. We get Omega turning the tables and he dishes out punches. MJF fakes a knee injury and Omega bit, allowing MJF to spin out into a power driver, mocking the V trigger attempt. Omega dodged it into a snapdragon for a double down. The crowd loudly behind Omega at this point as he lays out MJF with some sledgehammers, the misdirection, low dropkick, Katara Crutcher, and then the You Can't Escape for a 2 count. MJF rolled outside, and then Omega's finally able to hit that Terminator dive back inside. He goes for the one wing angel, but MJF rakes at the eyes and then tries for the Panama Sunrise, but he misses. Omega brought MJF up the ropes. He looks for an avalanche one wing angel, only for MJF to slide out after biting the forehead. MJF looks for an avalanche tombstone, but Omega is able to click his feet, got free, and then delivered a Snapdragon. MJF tried one, but Omega landed on his feet and then hits a poison Rana. Omega goes for a one ring angel yet again, only this time MJF counters into a poison Rana of his own and then hits the Panama Sunrise, but Omega no-sold it and hits a running knee strike and gets a 2 count. MJF sidestepped a charge, missed a heat singer, but slingshot Omega into a cutter for 2. Then he tried for the You Can't Escape, but he missed the moonsault. Omega stacked him up with a power bomb and then a brutal knee for 2. Omega tried another You Can't Escape, but this time MJF got his knees up on the moonsault, so Omega was ready though as he hits a snap Hurricane Rana to the floor. Then Omega bounces off, does a shout out to Kota Ibushi as he hits the big golden triangle moonsault. The impact caused Omega to take a moment. Then he goes for a V trigger back in the ring, but MJF sinks in multiple kitchen sinks going after the injured midsection of Omega, who's clutching at his midsection and ribs. MJF zones in on the stomach, yelling that Omega, if that hurts, then a third kitchen sink is countered into a roll-up by Omega. Then they hit a double crossbody with Omega selling the ribs some more. 10 quarter punches by Omega, who hits a buckle bomb before climbing up to the top rope, hits a missile drop kick to the back of the neck and gets 2. MJF met Omega up top again, and he hits a leaping right hand to the midsection, and then he goes for the avalanche tombstone, but Omega reverses. He caught a leaping MJF with a knee right to the jaw. Then finally, Omega is able to hit the avalanche one wing angel that stunned the commentary and got a huge ovation from the crowd, who was very much into this. After a 4.5 hour pay-per-view, they were as loud as this match for any other matchup on the card, probably outside of the opener. And Omega's not able to take advantage of this as MJF rolls outside before he's able to get the cover. Omega went out after him, but took too long. MJF tries for the crossroads, but Omega dodges it with a wheel kick, and then he hits a V trigger in the corner, Snapdragon, and then a V trigger to the face, but MJF kicks out. Omega initially couldn't get MJF up, but tried a second time. MJF escaped the one wing angel, and then finally he hits the crossroads to very loud boos. Then he hits a package power driver and he gets a 2 count. MJF starts paintbrushing and toying with Omega, taunting him, talking trash at the same time. MJF goes off the ropes, but Omega clobbers him with a V trigger. The crowd wanted one more. Omega gave it to them after kicking MJF and then getting a full head of steam. And then finally he hits another V trigger. One wing angel is avoided as MJF is able to basically get the referee in the way as Omega tries for another V trigger and referee goes down. We get a low blow by MJF. Then he reaches in the referee's pocket for his dynamite diamond ring and puts it on, but Omega's able to dodge the shot, and finally he hits the one wing angel in the middle of the ring. We get a visible 10 count from the crowd before referee Paul Turner rushes down to the ring to get the 1, the 2, and MJF kicks out at 2.99. Excalibur said no one has kicked out of the one wing angel in an AEW ring, and technically MJF didn't either. Omega brings MJF to the apron. He signals for the table that was set up earlier in the matchup, but MJF's able to slug him in the ribs, and he pulls out the dynamite diamond ring and slugs him yet again in the ribs. Then with Paul Turner not being able to see this because he's tending to Bryce Remsburg, then he hits him with a tombstone off the apron through the table at ringside. He throws Omega on the apron, and he follows up with the Heat Seeker. 1, 2, 3. MJF retains the AEW World Championship in an absolute epic main event, nearly 40 minutes, just under 39 minutes for this one, back-to-back epic 40 long minute matches from MJF and AEW pay-per-view main events. And man, these two guys, what a performance by Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega selling and how he's able to draw people in with his struggle and make you really believe that he can, like, he's going to have his ribs, his midsection explode due to the diverticulitis. The struggle he's able to bring, his pacing of these matches, the way he lays these matches out are incredible because it has the ebbs and the flows and had the fans kind of getting into all these great near falls at the end with the V-trigger and the one wing angel and the heat seekers and everything. It's just so well done. And MJF was the perfect dance partner here. I think they totally outdid their matchup from 2023. This was an epic, fantastic main event to the show and a match of the year candidate, an instant classic in my eyes. One of the best AEW pay-per-view main events to me. I had to give this one 5 stars. This was a perfect main event. These two guys delivered an absolute Broadway in front of this live crowd who were just as into this match as any other matchup after 4.5 hours of pay-per-view wrestling, and maybe 5 hours if you were there for the pre-show. They had them on the edge of their seat throughout this whole matchup. And it is official. MJF will defend the AEW World Championship against Darby Allin this Wednesday on Dynamite. We'll start with J News. What did you think about Omega MJF 2?
You know, when I first started watching the match, I got this feel because I was watching how Kenny was moving. And when the match was starting out, I say for like the first, I'd say 7 to 10 minutes, I felt like Kenny was slower than I was used to. There wasn't that snap that I was used to in Kenny's movements. There wasn't that finesse that I was used to. And I was like, nah. I'm going to give this match more time. I got to give this match more time because I felt like I was watching a shell of Kenny Omega to start this match. And then the match went to where it got to. We took that long drive down Broadway, and I said to myself, oh, he was pacing himself. Okay. Okay. I got it. This is the cleaner. This is the wrestling god. This is whatever version of the whatever greatest version you've ever watched of Kenny Omega was what we saw last night. There's no doubt in my mind, even though retirement is probably looming for him due to medical issues and things of that nature, that Kenny Omega is going to be remembered as one of the greatest of all time. This run he's been on the last 10 to 15 years has been unreal, dude. Unfreaking real. And this match with MJF is up there for me, right? On the other side, I don't want to hear anything else about MJF slander for the rest of my life. This kid can wrestle any style match. He is that damn good, and AEW is lucky to have him. That's not even a fucking joke. That's not even hyperbole. They're lucky to have him. So this run cemented with this Kenny win, greatest AEW World Championship run he's ever been on. Could it be the greatest that AEW has had as a company so far? Maybe. But what he's been able to do along the way for guys that he's had matches with has been inspiring, and it just makes me feel like this kid gets it. And this match proved it even more. He just gets it, right? And not only the story that they told on the microphone throughout the weeks on Dynamite and Collision and backstage promos and vignettes, it was a story in the ring as well. You know, that's a complete professional wrestler. These two men, complete professional wrestlers. 40 minutes, was it enough time? Sure, maybe. I don't know, but I'm willing to watch it again. At the end of the day,
yeah,
that's
it
what
never. The best compliment you could give it. It never felt like 40 minutes.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, I can watch this again, and it's just, it was great, man. 5 stars, yeah, no doubt. 6.5 in the Tokyo Dome. You know what I'm saying? For those of us who joke that way. But yeah, man, I wasn't disappointed in this at all. And the result was what it was. They protected Kenny. It wasn't a clean win. It all worked out at the end of the day. So fantastic main event, fantastic match between these two. I wonder how they get to, if fans get what they want, right? Which is Kenny and Will at All In. How we get there is the journey, right? That's going to be the journey from now on. Like, how do we get to Kenny being the champion versus Will at All In, right? But man, what a freaking match, bro. What a match. What a way to end the night. Having Max with that freaking crown of thorns on his head and sinking into the elevator as the freaking camera went out. And yeah, man. Wow. Just incredible stuff.
Wendy, what did you think about the main event?
I mean, what can I say? I agree with what both you and Jane said. It was amazing. Definitely amazing. From the start to finish, granted, that man didn't beat Kenny clean. Everyone should know that. But, he retained. And honestly, like, I'm surprised at how far MJF has come. Like, I'm very surprised as how far he came from when they first decided to create AEW, and like how he started to like the journey that this man have been. It's like is amazing. And as Janie said, like he gets it. People think like he's just this heel character and stuff like that, but this man gets it. He gets wrestling. And you can see, and like you can tell, like his, he got better, and to be in the match with Kenny, who is like up there, and he's like where to say, like one of the greatest, one of the GOATs, like, and you don't fumble. And you're up there with him, like you guys do this back and forth, like it's like, yeah, like Kenny's great, but like you're there too, and you show him like, hey, you're great too, as well. There's not much to say about this match. It's like I honestly I have no words to say. I give it 5 stars.
John, what about you?
I think that MJF came into this title run with something to prove, and he proved it weeks ago. He's just going now. He's just cementing his legacy, really. He's 30 years old now, at the prime of his career, on top, doing everything right, getting all the right attention. He's everything you want a top guy to be. He is the prototypical perfect world champion right now. His run matches that description. The storytelling, like the way the company is setting him up to be in canon the greatest world champion by pinning all the previous ones or beating all the top guys. Everything about this is perfect. Everyone involved should give themselves a pat on the back so far. And even if he drops the belt for however long he drops it on Wednesday, it's not like this is the end of his run on top. The belt is a prop. He's still going to be the same top guy. He's still going to do the same shenanigans. He'll still be on the show as much as he was as champion. I don't think that this is even close to being done. I do think that Wembley has to have MJF in the main event. Yes. I think I believe it should be Ospreay. But I don't know. It has to be Ospreay if you ask me. It's just so weird the way the company books Ospreay sometimes. Like I feel like where MJF is the perfect top guy being booked that way. Ospreay is not. Like he has all the right aura. He's everything. He's like perfect to be the other side of the coin to MJF, but he loses so frequently in this company. I'm like, fuck. And I get it. Like, that's cool. I guess that he's willing to do that, but you're right in this shit. Like, he doesn't have to lose so fucking much. There's ways to have adversity without just getting pinned all the time. Like, I feel like he's lost way too much over the last 2 years since he's been signed, and that sucks going into All In, because I feel like he should have had this momentum, this rocket behind his back, where it feels like this. It's
to be fair, you could have said the same thing about Bryan going into 2024's All In.
I don't know about that. I didn't even think he should have.
He lost to Will Ospreay 2 months before he won the Owen Hart Cup.
Oh no, but I know, but Bryan's got like he's already been the top guy. Like that happened already. You know, you can. It's like
not in this company, not before he won the world title.
It doesn't work the same with guys like a Bryan or people who have been there already, like on television, on cable TV. People who've known Bryan Danielson. He's been on top multiple times. He's like a star. You can just turn him on tomorrow. Ospreay, I just figured before you get that, like Bryan had it. Like I don't know. I guess it's fine. I just would have preferred the same obvious heavy momentum headed into this title match where he's going to be I mean, I'm sure we have 4 months left. He can just win the Owen Cup and everything will be fine, but it's kind of weird. I don't feel like they're getting the most out of what you could do with Ospreay. Obviously he's coming back off a neck injury now. That's not saying he should have beat Moxley either. Just that he's been put in a position to lose quite a bit in his time in AEW. I feel like it's too much already.
That's fair. But yeah, this reign for MJF, it's gonna go down as one of the greatest in the company's history. And I would say this matchup is probably the best match he's had of this reign.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
that's saying something because I love the Hangman Texas Death match, but this match was just better.
It's a whole other like that was like even when we talked about it last week, it's like a whole other kind of performance there. This was like straight up MJF wrestling the best possible match he could wrestle and winning. And I know people were like bothered by the ref bump. I don't know. I feel like that it's supposed to disappoint you. Like it was disappointing in a way. Like you're supposed to be mad.
He's a heel. He's a heel. This was a great way to protect Omega all at the same time. So and he needed the ref to get bumped because the ref took his Dynamite Diamond Ring. How else is he supposed to get the Dynamite Diamond Ring without the ref bump? So many people worry about that type of stuff. And I would say the only one to answer Big Man Does here, he says, which world title reign, men's world title reign in AEW has been better than this reign? I would say Omega's is the only one that's on this level. Omega's title run is probably the only one that's on the level of this run for MJF.
Of the devil. People were really angry with him wearing the upside down cross or whatever and the horns. He's so fucking stupid. It's funny. I laughed. It's great. I don't even think I think someone pointed out like technically in his religion he doesn't even believe in the things that you're talking about.
That's why it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. It's just like it's just fucking playing TV stuff. It's great. I thought I had a great time, and then he goes back to hell at the end. That's fucking perfect. Come on, man. Lighten the fuck up.
Yeah, man. I think there's a big contingent of folks who criticize and critique wrestling who take this stuff too seriously at times. So that needs to be washed away from the conversation. Man, it's like I said, it's only entertainment. I think Dion said this. He's surprised that there was no swerve interference. So was I. At the end of the day, I called for it. No swerve here. I still don't think Swerve's gonna pop up on Dynamite even for some reason.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, even though it is Washington, it's his home state. I don't think he's going to pop up there either. He's still looking.
Maybe he can come out after Darby wins.
Sure. Yeah,
you have Swerve come out, because I think that what they're gonna do at Double or Nothing, I don't think they're gonna immediately run back MJF and Darby 1-on-1. I think they probably do a multi-man matchup for the world title at Double or Nothing. You throw an Omega in there, you throw a Swerve in there, Darby, MJF, kind of work with all the pieces that you have been building here. Because another cool fact, because I thought about it when you guys were all talking, MJF has beaten every single AEW World Champion in the company's history except for one, Swerve Strickland. Strickland is the only AEW World Champion MJF has never beaten.
So we're still holding on to that. We're still saving that. For some point. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even know if I do like a Swerve MJF match in this reign, if only like in this time between now and All In. If only because you kind of have to have Swerve lose, and I'm like, I don't know if I want that right now. I don't know if that's even good.
And he turned heel. If he never turned heel, I think you do that. That's one of the matches that you do as a pay-per-view main event, maybe at like Double or Nothing. But because he turned heel, I don't think that's now going to be an option for them. They just don't do heel versus heel main events.
I was also, when you brought up the multi-man, I was trying to think of a time where they closed out a show with a multi-man match. So like if they do a multi-man at Double or Nothing, we don't. I thought you also don't want to do that twice with MJF. I mean, I guess, but then that kind of puts an asterisk on him as world champion. Like, so he couldn't win the belt 1-on-1 ever. I just thought it was an easy bookmark. Darby wins it in Washington. MJF takes it back in New York. You know, they're in their hometown. Yeah. It's easy. It gets you right where you need to be without involving people and potentially making them look bad with a loss when they don't have to or whatever. I do wonder what the fuck you do with Swerve, because I think I think that's why he's off TV. like wait a minute, like he's got so much presence right now. We can't like have him lose, and all our big baby faces are busy. So instead of wasting him with somebody that doesn't matter, we'll put him in a situation where he can win. So I'm excited to see what that's going to be, because that's another one that should be one of AEW's focal points.
Yeah, I think they might save the third matchup with Swerve and Omega for All In. If you're not going to put Omega in the main event against Ospreay, that's probably the biggest other matchup he can do is him and Swerve. So there's a couple of different directions they could go, but we do got a super chat donation before we give our ratings of the show. Dion, thank you so much for the super chat donation. He says this was the match of the night. Kenny pulled out all the stops. That Ospreay win at All In is going to be cathartic. Yes, I do agree. He's going to finally end this reign of terror that some people think MJF is on. But yes, we've come to the end of another pay-per-view review, but y'all know what time it is. It's time to give our ratings of the show. So let us know in the live chat and in the comments. What was your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP, your moment of the night, whether you gave this show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give Dynasty? For myself, Jay News, Wendy, and John, for AEW Dynasty 2026 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from all of us. Out of 10, I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. This was a great show from AEW, a bunch of great matches. And like I said, I thought there was certain things about this show that they did better than Revolution. I thought this was the better pace show, the better 0 hour compared to Revolution. And the main event, I think, was just that much better than the Texas Death Match, even though I thought that was the perfect ending to that show. I think this one was just amazing. Wendy, out of 10, what did you give the show?
I give it 8.5.
John?
Yeah, 8.5.
8.5. J News.
Yeah, same. 8.5 for me as well.
J News, start with you. What was your match of the night?
Oi, match of the night, man. I'm gonna give it to the main event. Honorable mention to freaking Darby versus Andrade, but I'm gonna give it to the main event.
John, what was your match of the night?
Match of the night for me, I'm gonna have to give it to the opener, the Bucks versus Takeshita and Okada. I love me a good Young Bucks match.
What about you, Wendy?
Oh man, okay. So I would say the opener because but I'm gonna give it to Kenny versus MJF.
Yeah, there's a lot of different options. Darby and Andrade. There's the Bucks and Takeshita and Okada. Some people might say even the Casino Gauntlet or something like that. But yeah, I'm going to give it to MJF and Kenny Omega. That was the epic main event that I knew they could deliver. And I thought it was a match of the year candidate. Perfect matchup. 5 stars for me. So that's the match of the night. MVP for the show, I'm going to give it to my boy, Kevin the Jet Knight. John.
I gotta give it to the MVP of the company, Mr. MJF.
Fair. Wendy?
MVP? You know what? I'm gonna agree with you, Sid. I'm gonna give it to Kevin Knight.
J News?
He's the MVP because he's going to be the future AEW World Champion, Darby Allin.
J News, start us off with LVP for the show.
Ooh. Just because he was on the show and I feel like he didn't do much. Daniel Garcia. That's my LVP.
Damn. John?
Unfortunately, I have to give it to the Dogs. They lost the belts. They lost a member. Nobody else had a worse night, I thought.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wendy?
LVP? Oh, gosh. I mean, I'm going to give it it's unfortunate, but I'm going to give it to Gabe Kidd.
Yep. I'm going to agree with you and John. I'm giving it to the Dogs yet again because Tony Khan don't let them win on pay-per-view. And then moment of the night. Man, there's a lot of good choices for that as well. But yeah, I'm going to stick with my MVP. I'm going to give it to Kevin Knight winning the Casino Gauntlet and the TNT Championship. Wendy?
Okay, my moment of the night is in the opener towards the end when Takeshita, he just let them do the Moxley driver on Okada. That was my moment.
John?
It's actually going to be that same moment. I love a good elite callback. When it comes to the elite, they love doing those. So not only that, I was like, is Takeshita going to join the elite like I've wanted forever? Like I'm still reopen and rekindle that fire. So yeah, hell yeah, moment of the night.
J News?
I want to say Okada Buck being the moment of the night. Okada Buck is the moment of the night for me.
That is fair. That is also fair. But we have made it to the end of our AEW Dynasty 2026 review. Thank you so much for all of you in the chat for joining us live. Thank you if you're watching us on demand. Remember, if you haven't already, drop the thumbs up, share this video, subscribe if you are new. I want to thank our panel here, our all-star panel. Thank you to J News, John, and Wendy. We're going to give ladies first. Wendy, the floor. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and when they might see you again.
Okay. Okay. So you can follow me, Wendy, aka Takeshita's #1 fangirl, at Instagram, Evelise to anyone. I pop in here and there for whenever Sid needs me. For reviews, for predictions, all that. So can't really say when I'll be back, but actually never mind. You probably catch me on when me, Sid, and Ness do our X-Men 97, which I'm very excited for. But other than that, you'll definitely catch my other half, the True Draw Josh, on True Heel Heat's #1 flagship show. So check them out there.
Thank you, Wendy. Now let's give our boy Jon Escudero Dirt Sheet Radio. Let the people know where they can follow you.
Definitely follow me on Dirt Sheet Radio everywhere on all the social media accounts. Go to dirtsheetradio.com for our interviews. For news updates, definitely check out Facebook, Instagram. Follow just official Dirt Sheet Radio on Instagram. I don't have a personal one anymore, thanks to Paramount. But yeah, check us out, man. It's awesome. This week's episode of Dirt Sheet Radio is available now everywhere podcasts are found. It's a chunky episode. I talk all my shit, and I got a nice little rant for Peter Rosenberg buried in there somewhere. See if you can find it.
Very nice. Love that. And J News, let the people know where they can follow you.
You guys can follow me over on the Twitter machine, over at John LYFNMG. Follow me over at Instagram _JONJY. The Hit Ropes podcast will be back this Sunday night, post WrestleMania. So 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a live stream. And then I should be back sometime within the next week or two with the main man SP3 to preview NJPW's Wrestling Duntaku. So stay tuned for that.
And you can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSB3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TrueHillHeat. Patreon.com/TrueHillHeat. $3 a month. Get you exclusive content. The best way to support us when we're not live here. And this is the start of our WrestleMania week of content. We got Rated Raw review tomorrow, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time with me and Top Guy JJ. We got a preview for the entire WrestleMania week for the collective, for Slam Fest, and everything in between. The outlier shows outside of WrestleMania on Wednesday drop in here. We'll also be on True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment with our playoff preview for the NBA on True Hill Heat Check. Thursday, we got our WrestleMania preview, me, Maggie, and a special guest joining us for that one. And then on Friday, we got AE Ramble. Saturday, we got the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. And we also have a watch party for WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. On Sunday, we'll have a review of Night 1 as well in the morning. And then on Monday, next Monday here, we'll review Night 2 of WrestleMania 42. So be on the lookout for all of that. So for John, for Wendy, for J News, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been our AEW Dynasty 2026 review. We are signing off until next time.